Welcome everybody. It's 3:03 on the clock. We have pick one today, so you'll have 5 of my messages of the day. They're channeled messages of the day to pick from. You can watch all of them. It will be a long video. And then we have the 7-deck read for the twin flames at the end, and I'll do oracle cards at the end as well. We're going to roll the die. Let's go ahead first and take our 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's pretty warm here, not too bad. It was sunny this morning. I don't see it very much right now. And the Eagles won last night, so yay, Philadelphia. And I have my 5 messages of the day. Some very profound stuff came up again today. I've been doing a lot of messages from my remote script. And so let's get right into it. We're going to roll the die. Today is January 30th, 2023. And we're building up to the full moon. I believe it's February 5th, around there. That was significant for my reads. It came up back 4 months ago. I think it was October. All right, so the twin flames, January 30th, 2023, for the best and highest good of all those concerned. We have the Pisces right here, excuse me, and the number 4, which is the Emperor and Aries energy. It's also April, which is Aries, and we also have the South Node here, which is in Scorpio till July. And Scorpio, so letting go of those negative Scorpio traits, money, sex, death, taxes, all that deep, profound stuff of big transformation. Letting go of those traits that no longer serve you. The 4 of stability and building and structure, as well as the energy of survival, as opposed to the 8 of manifesting dreams instead. The 4 is also the lambda leap, the L and the 1. The lamb to the father leap. And then the energy of Pisces, which is the end of the cycle. And you also see it brings the, it's like the toroidal field. It's the center where the 0 point is. It brings the 2 circles together. And the fish energies, there is some duality there in the fish, as well as mediation and coming together. And my plants that you see on the table were actually growing together. One was planting roots in the other, so they are bringing themselves together naturally. And so what do we have here? So Aries is cardinal, Pisces is mutable, and then Scorpio is fixed, so that's well balanced. And we also have Pisces going into Aries, the end of the cycle, the rebirthing energies here, and that definitely came up today. That came up in a pretty profound, cool way. I hope you listen to that read. And then we have Scorpio, so letting go of those profound, deep energies that no longer serve us. Okay. So here is number 1. So remember, there's 5 of the messages of the day. There'll be 4 to 6 decks. They'll all be different. And then the 7-deck read on the table, which is specifically the twin flames. We have this first one here, which is Shaman Dreams at the top. Let's see. Shaman Dreams, and then Metatron, then the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, and then the Rider-Waite is a half deck of just the characters. It's only half of the deck. And then the bottom is my mixed deck of Lenormand and the Kipper decks together. Okay. To the left energies are the underlying energies. To the right are the piles I count. Sometimes it'll come out in the pyramid for me to read more cards. And usually I'm pulling 3 cards from each deck. in the middle. So let me pull them up close so you can read a little bit better. This is pick number 1. And bring it up closer. Okay, Metatron, the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, the half deck of Rider-Waite, and then the bottom, the mixed deck of Lenormand and the Kipper decks. So get that in a little bit clearer. Okay. So I started all these back on the 27th, so these are all coming up. It doesn't matter when you watch it. It's going to apply to you whenever you're guided to come see it. Okay, all of them. It doesn't matter what date they were done. These were pulled out at 12/11, 12/12, 12/12, 12/13 to 14, and then 12/15 on the 27th, which is the Ace of Wands, and that day added up to 35, which is the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior energy, and the Ace of Wands, which is that new passion, or perhaps frustration if it's reversed energy. And then all of the piles at the end were 2s, except for the Lenormand Kipper decks. There was 3 cards at the end, so we had 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and nothing came up for that because the number's big in gematria. So I just looked up 2, 2, 2, 2, and the first entry there was IRS, which in America we're all kind of geared that way right now, since now we have to get all our tax stuff together for submission. And then the second entry was CI, giving testimony, K, and then capital J, lowercase c. And the third entry, I lost my voice on that second one. I don't know what it means, but I lost my voice. So if it means something to you, someone's not speaking their truth and they're giving testimony, so someone might be lying on the stand. And there is court stuff that comes up in some of the reads today. The third entry was Chuck and Jesus, the shepherd sitting in a tree. The fourth was Yahava, Havava, so Y-A-H-A-V-A, and then H-A-V-A-V-A. And the fifth entry was Divine Soul Power. 6 was indeed both Jesus and Chuck are I, capital N, capital F, capital J. So whatever that means for you. 7 is Jesus is me and I am he and we are a he. The 8th entry was 420. And the 9th entry, so 420. I didn't actually look that up, which I could now. The 9th entry was for the records, God and Chuck's heavenly abode. The 10th entry was a day taken is Wednesday. I was guided to do a whole bunch more here, so I'm going to list them for you. The 11th was Holy Spirit, Last Days Apocalypse. 12 was the letter C, and then God, Jesus is winner. 13 was Declassifying a Truth, K, and I kept getting K here in all of these reads, and for me it was saying like, okay. All right, so Declassifying a Truth, K, God, Jesus. The 14th was The Lion of Judah is a Woman. 15 was Twin Flame Arrow, right after that, so that was pretty cool. 16 was Women Say Sorry, K, so women apologizing. 17 was Okay in the Name of Jesus, Hallelujah. And I watched the movie about Leonard Cohen today, who's famous for the song Hallelujah, so that was very much coming up this week. And it's a beautiful movie if you haven't watched it. And then I watched Hachi again last night, which made me cry like crazy. So if you haven't seen Hachi, you have to see Hachi. It's about a doggy, and it's beautiful. The 18th entry was Be in Big Trouble with God. So again, allow yourself to fall. Okay, just be your authentic self and just be your best version of yourself. And we all make mistakes. We're human. Capital J, C, and then K. Okay. 19 was I Cry Rivers of Tears Daily. 20 was Half Man, Half God, was written 11 times. The 21st entry was Jennifer, M.M., Get in the Water, K.G. So it's like saying, okay, from God. I don't know if it was written M.M. or Mary Magdalene, so it might have just been the 2 letters M.M. You can look it up if you'd like to. Again, this was under 2222. The 22nd entry, as we get to the 22nd entry, is J.C. the Holy One of Israel. So it didn't say Israel, it said Israel, but it was one word. 23 is the King of Wands, Love All Children, the Seed of Love and Light. 24 was the Holy Spirit is the final call before the apocalypse. 25 is Jesus living inside man Chuck. So Chuck was all over this one. 26th entry was open day after tomorrow. Look. 27 is there he is. I live and breathe in you, Chuck. 28, being what God Jesus said. 29 is sensitivity. H, the life of a Pisces ascendant. The 30th entry was God, I, God, Jesus, Chuck, I, Gematria, encoded holy plan. 31 is marked by God, and 1183, he is key, which 1183 is the reflection of 3811, which is the Queen of Cups, or Mary Magdalene. 32 was unlocking the codes, fate of birth, is 1183, so there's that 1183 again. And the king, and then it said K again, okay? And then 33 is B, Sagittarius, is the best sex of all the zodiac in bed of. It just ended in of. Or it says the best sex in bed of all the zodiac. 34 was the science and spirituality of love. So we start with the underlying energies. Actually, I want to look up 420. And it's 3:14 on the clock right now. My son was born at 4:20 in room 420, and it's my daughter's birthday, 3:14. So let's look up the gematria of 420, see what comes up. All right, 420 says the first entry is must, M-U-S-T. And then Tristan, T-R-I-S-T-A-N, then Republican, and then Utopia. And the fifth entry is L-Y. I don't know if I looked up a lot of two-letter words this week, like L-M and L-N. I don't know if I looked up L-Y, but you might want to look that up. And then Becky, the son of man. Earth is flat. Turn, planet Earth, Louisiana, and Sanskrit. And then horned frogs. And I'm going to leave it at that. So that was 420. So the underlying energy for this read was the Woodwives, 64, which is the 10 of Swords, 39, which is the green healing heart, and also the eagle comes up there, and yay, eagles. And then the Knight of Cups, 39, again, so two 39s, two Knight of Cups, and the Woodwives, and then the 14 of Message of Concern. And 14 is the Temperance card of patience and balance and that higher love of the angelic realms. So Wives of the Carpenter, adaptable to pain and bliss, the offshoots of the trunk, just like I said, the two plants had grown together. So one of their little branches had grown into this plant, just a little, had put their roots down there. So trying to anchor into the other. The Carpenter, adaptable to pain and bliss, or the Wives of the Carpenter, and the offshoots of the trunk with space between. Ring around the rosy in 39, the Knight of Cups of heart healing, the Emerald Order, and then Imana is what Elena Danan says the Pleiadians call their she-god, Imana, and I spell it E-M-A-N-A. I believe she uses an I, but this is the way I was guided to write it. And I like it too, Imana, because it has man in the middle with E and A, which is the emotional attachments, but also represents AE, which is ash or that bright light. So the Emerald Order is that energy of Amana, suddenly all divine, or all M. So instead of all in I'm getting right now, all M, which is the mother, but also it's the two ones with the V between, which is co-creation. And remember that M also equals D, because a line and a parenthesis, D, is a shorthand way of writing the letter M, because it used to be written as two parentheses with a one line in the middle. That was M. So M and D are actually the same letter. So Emerald comes up, and I was dividing all of the letters apart. They were guiding me to pull all the letters apart in Emerald, like this. Let me see if I can focus that in a little bit. Okay. So you see what it looks like. And the energy of Eve, so of course I see Evie in it because my name is Ev. But Eve as two, with the space between, one equal and congruent to on either side, because remember capital E is one, and then the three lines across is equal and congruent to on either side of creation here. The space, quote unquote, of RA, or Ra, or Ray, at the right angle, space, parenthesis. And remember, C for me is the Christ consciousness, but remember the opposite parenthesis is the reflection of that, or the energy of Mary Magdalene, or the Sophia. The suffering in silence, the sister, the stress, the not sleeping at night, but again, bringing up the space between as that feminine energy, the dark energy in the sky as the feminine mother energy, and then the emerald as 1 equals 1 creates 2 or 11, because it's 1, 1, which also equals 1. Little j, or parenthesis, was small creation of delta and change. The divine masculine altar then falls, but gets up at a right angle of 1, and the opposite parentheses, reflection, in parentheses, the suffering in silence, or the sister. And remember, parentheses is also the parent thesis, or parent, the suffering in silence, SIS. So parent is also par, which is equal, and then the ENT, which is not only a doctor, but it's the giant tree who talks. So the equal giant trees talking about the suffering in silence, the stress, or perhaps the sister, or the one in between the Sophias, which are the spaces between all of the black space. The equal giants talking tree, the SIS sister, which is also sister, it's also she, which includes he. It's also fog, the numbers 4 and 6, which is that 46 of the inner and outer children loving each other. If you're willing, belt, hill, mountain, cheese, and knitting needle, which is a giant sewing needle. We talk about, sewing the pearl together. So for giants, you need a knitting needle, don't you? And also that morning on the 27th, I was hearing ringing in my right ear. It was 12:17 p.m. on the 27th. So parentheses is equal giant talking trees, both the 4 and the 6 of the masculine and the feminine, of the structure and the family, of the lambda leap and the spiral. And if you're willing, and remember, ing means the water meadow. It's the house, the swing, to wobble, right? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. And the ink, or the ink that you are, and that's actually a line in one of my songs, that I am the ink. We are the ink, scribing our journey, right? Cutting our way through in this ascension process. And again, the energy of the parentheses, the way they're usually written, which then creates a circle, and then back to back, which creates the middle of the toroidal field, the torus. And also, it's the wavy X, which is also the chromosome, the middle of the torus. So weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. And the lambda leap of the number 4, L and 1, remember 1 is 2 dots with a leap between them, spiraling, and there's that ing again of the wobble in the parentheses, the parent thesis, the parent trap, the parent suffering in silence of she, which includes he, and the knitting needle, the giant sewing needle for nets, right? So you need, for those big grids, you need a big needle, don't you? So she, or SHE, is the S of the sine wave and the H of 1 to 1 of the parentheses. So remember I told you that the M used to be 2 parentheses with a 1 in the middle, which they're paralleling now to the 2 1s with a dash in the middle, which is the letter H. And JC, which is a toroidal field, the X in the middle, but with direction. So here is the she, the sine wave, and then the 1 to 1, the parentheses, which you see when they go back to back are the X, the O's and X's, the hugs and kisses, the 1 equal and congruent, or next door neighbor may be coming up here, as the 2 plants were next door neighbor because they were sitting next to each other, which is why they were able to connect. The S can be Sophia. And again, I was getting the line in the going down the middle of the circle of the 2 parentheses, which is like the pi or the phi energy, and then the line going down the middle of the toroidal field, which you know is that energy that comes from that 0 point and the Hieroskamos energy. So then again, it's representing the hugs and kisses of the circle and the X, she and JC, the stone and the sword, Sophia's tone, and the S word. So emerald again is Evie or EIVIE, and then Ra or Ray, and then LD. And LD is the, so Evie is also coming up as the co-creation, like the letter M of 1 and 1 with V in the middle, because we have EIVIE. So IVI for me is co-creation. It's also the letter M with E on either end, is the one equal and congruent to as bookends of co-creation or energetic exchange. Remember, the rolling stone is the EM3W. When it rolls over, it's all the same letter. The EE or the WW33 and MM, the rolling stone ray, Evie ray lead, and then the lead LED light coming up, which is light emitting diode or diode, however you want to pronounce it. And then LID also came up, which represents the eyelid, the gate, to cover, remember, pulling a lid on it. The top, the hat, which just came up in the read I did today, that top hat. The song, trust, people, hermetically sealed top piece on a microchip, such as a heat spreader on the CPU. Limb, penis, member, which some people call their penis a member. So those were the messages that came up regarding lid. Also, slope of a hill. And actually, as Evie Ray song came up, a friend of ours whose last name is Ray came in the door. So Ray was very significant there. And that was at 1:30. So then also LD came up, which is the logarithm to the base 2, which logarithm is, for me, is always the logos, which is the word, and the rhythm, which is a poem or song, to the base of 2, 2 people. The binary logarithm, or the harmony. And again, in math, the X is like a chromosome, which is representing the kiss as well, and the toroidal field, the torus. So the woodwives adapt, the Knight of Cups healing their heart, as the eagle dives, and the Knight of Cups offers love to Sagittarius or patient angel with a message of concern. So I was from the messages I got here, I wasn't getting the eagles losing when they said eagles dives, but I was getting the eagles diving right in, and I actually told my daughter before the game that I was definitely getting eagles to win. And they did. So there's the woodwives adapt, the Knight of Cups healing heart, as the eagle dives and the Knight of Cups offers love to Sagittarius or patient angel with a message of concern. And there could be 2 Knight of Cups here. At 1:52 is the leap to the Queen of Swords, or the masculine magician and the Queen of Swords, or the Lady of Liberty and Light. The underlying energy of the 45 of repairing the veil, the 47 sky bridge, and the 64 woodwives. So purging to repair the veil, tying the pages back together, top down, with space between, binding articulation, telling the whole story, not just his story or history, but with forgiveness. And the 47 of the heart to the crown, the 4th to the 7th chakra, the sky bridge of the twin towers with possibility for union, and the woodwives 64, who are more adaptable to the pain and bliss. They're more flexible, more bendable than the trunk of the tree, which is more stiff. They're smaller and they're more agile, but they're more breakable too. Recovering the spiritually evolved body before the physical. So it's coming up as recovering the spiritual and emotional bodies before the physical. The words and the edit before the book and the binding. So they're referencing it to the book, to writing a story. So the first card out here was the 40 of the mindful group think. The Page of Cups, 46, 6 of Cups, with the root girl who's disowned themselves. It's like that little root sprouting up that never went anywhere. And the 12 of the dragon's horde protecting the future. And it was reminding me of, I made some ceramic plaques for my nephews many, many years ago, probably 30 years ago. And the one I made for my daughter, I was pregnant with her at the time. I never got to do it. Like I'd done the drawing, but I never made it in class because we didn't have time. But it was called Jenna's Jaunt. And this came up right here in the Dragon's Hoard. And there is Pisces coming up there with the Hanging Man. So the Dragon's Hoard in protecting the future, like kind of cuddling up in your room kind of energy, with the Page of Cups and the Hanging Man, with Pisces or Capricorn here, the little girl left behind at the root, sacrificed for the masculine part, the dragon hoarding. With two cards here, 33 and 30, standing up for self with the Christ vibration and the joyful muse of inspiration. The horseman heralding the herald of change here and union, and then going, whoa, back in the saddle, ready to be creative again. So we had 64 here and 46 reflecting each other, which is the 10 of Swords and the 6 of Cups, right? Reflecting very different energies. But the 64 reversed is the bliss. And so is the 6 of Cups in a different way of the innocent ones coming together in bliss. And we also then had the 40 of the Emperor and the 30 of the Empress, where 40 is the Page of Cups and 30 is the Four of Wands, the home. And the 12-3 also came up here. So the Page of Cups and the Hanging Man, the 64 and 46 reflecting themselves in the JC union where lovers come together. In the Lamb de Leap, the Divine Feminine, and then the Hanging Man's leap, or the 1, 2, 3 jump leap of the Divine Masculine, she leaps to source, and then he leaps back in, one with talent and one with the get up and go, the perfect complement at 211. The Divine Feminine, our higher self, and the alignment of that, or justice of truth and balance. So at 215, the Divine Feminine, or higher self, and the 15 of the Devil. The underlying energy was the 51 of the King of Swords and the color white of purity and innocence, and the 27 of Metatron and the Rainbow Bridge. The 19 of the Fire Dragon's strength, the 47 of Blessings and Thanks, the 20 of the Cosmos, and the 39 again of the Knight of Cups. The King of Swords purifying, inspired to bridge, energized by fire in their belly, exposing all the synchronicities of the heart to the crown with blessings and thanks in a wake-up call, or the King of Swords and the Sun bridging, having a meal, or learning to eat better. In a wake-up call, as the cosmos mirrors you, the Knight of Cups in the green emerald heart healing, with white diamond wings and fire in their belly, in a wake-up call to the reflection of indigo and the emerald heart and the emerald city, the whispering bench of the chakra system, to the top dog with gratitude. And I want to bring this up too. This comes up in one of the later reads about oh, now I lost it. Oh, no. The solar plexus is very significant here, and it came up today when I was getting some messages. So we'll get there, but no, you might want to focus on your solar plexus and see what's coming up for you. It came up as major, and it is a major point anyway, because it is the heart solar plexus connection is a major connection right there. It was literally coming up as the intersection in my message today, so you might want to check that out. I think it was in number 5 that I did today. So the Emerald Heart and the Emerald City. And then at 226 is the higher self or divine feminine and the Page of Wands. With the first card being the first two cards, the 12 and the 48 of the Hanging Man, walking away and within of the 8 of Cups. The Akash and the Void, articulating pages and Om, on the crown at home. Open to a page, hang out to see a new perspective, and then my Nat showed up at 228 to 29, which is the twin flames and then the being present in the moment to your gifts. And Nat always comes in when it's unforgettable. So there's a new perspective that's unforgettable at home. The diamond on the magic carpet, or the suspension bridge, which, by the way, I bought Ishmael Perez's book, and I read a few chapters last night. So most of my reads were done before that. By the way, it's 3:33 on the clock now again. So I'm bringing him up at 3:33. That's significant. But then I was guided to open a page as well, so I'll give you a little bit of information from that page. But remember, I only open people's books not to give away their information for free, because, you know, you need to buy their book if you want to read their book. But it'll give me just a glimpse of information that's connecting with the information that I'm presenting to you. So it's kind of like a confirmation or brings clarification of something that I'm telling you already. So the gnat, after the gnat came out, they crawled under the void card, going to the bird. The King of Swords is in the heart, reading to open his wings and go within to his inner little girl in the root, the one he denied 3 times. So 30 with crown, and there's 3 times, and then so 30, which is 3 in X and 3 in O. So there's that hugs and kisses energy too of the masculine and the feminine, the dance and the embodiment of source as a human, but not doing the dance. With the crown, so the little girl in the root, the one he denied 3 times. So 30, which is also the symbol for Om with the crown on top, with the crown to get back in, so going into the Om, into the void. The 50 of the 10 of Cups and the signs from Spirit with love, the bird blushing on a branch of his tree, hanging out keeping to themselves without song, protecting the future. At 234, the higher self or divine feminine and that energetic exchange of the 34, which is the 8 of Wands, with 2 cards coming up at the end here, the 23 and the 14, of the King of Wands, Sagittarius, or the Patient Angel, with the King of Wands off balance, in duality, and needing a joyful muse, needing to set boundaries with natural auras, keys to the sun's rays, the path under the bridge and through the steepled doors, over hill, over dale, as we hit the dusty trail. And then caissons came up, CAISSON, which is a military vehicle structure to exclude water. You know, like a sealed box that can go underwater. So buoyancy came up with that, as well as a gate across the entrance to a dry dock, a floating tank that can be submerged. So, of course, a submarine can be referenced to that as well. And the horse-drawn, 2-wheeled military vehicle that carries ammunition or a coffin, which is sealed. But nature needs water to be green and survive, patience, balance, and a higher love. Songs throw him off balance, water dousing on his fire, and then creating a lack of inspiration. And then at 244, the higher self, and the 44 of Hercules and her harvest, the 4 of Cups, and the sea serpent, and the break in the seal, with the 2 of the Knight of Cups here, and a higher love with a message of concern, because of this break in the seal. So the elephant stomps in wherever the songbird sings, the nightingale. The vulture is babysitting or awaiting their opportunity, keeping a watchful eye on them, but really as the dragon keeps an eye on the lizard, with wise old owl, or one who's a hoot, with Mr. Ed working hard to leave no man behind, as the turtle is slow with the hummingbird in their right ear, causing it to ring and clearing the air. But the turtle sends them away, not understanding what it is. As I told you that there was ringing in my right ear. Or trying to work with others, gossiping about the cosmic egg and the collective awakening side by side, but the frog is in the rain. And with this specific card, I always get Love Rain on Me with Roger Daltrey. But seeing their golden nest egg attacked, or seeing the nest egg attacked, or go down the drain, it was supposed to be, but it said train, so that's specific. As the eagle dives in, but is eagle there for the elephant instead? So eagles don't dive when they're attacking. They scoop when they're searching for eggs. They don't dive into the nest. They dive when they're swooning, right? When they're romancing someone. So because the eagles only dive in romance, not to rob the nest. At 323, which is the Empress and the King of Wands, and Spirit's connecting with me, as they only swoop for prey. And the snake without their tail in their mouth here, remember the illusion of spiraling. So the bat lost in space with a bird's eye view, top down of the awakening, while the elephant carries the flame with every step to follow that star no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. As the nightingale sings with bated breath, that their heart will lie peaceful and calm when they're laid to their rest or nest. The vulture old eagle with the heart of a nightingale, and there's that ing of the water meadow in nightingale, and on top of the earth calling to the bat while keeping a dragon's eye on the lizard. The higher self and lower self, who's sensitive to crowds and energies, with the owl and the horse as you see their relation, the wise stallion, and notice stallion is the stall lion, who gives a damn. Damn it, Janet, as the turtle is rocky and slow, but can do it, with Adrian whispering softly in their ear. Softly, slowly, so Tiny Dancer coming up there too, as well. Clearing the way to open the collective heart, on the same level to get to the crown, as the frog lays the golden egg, and becomes the eagle diving right in, the birds whispering in the ears of those weathered or slow, and as the eagle leaves the nest, and the spirit's still connecting with me, exposing the golden egg, as the eagle leaves their nest, exposing their golden egg, will the frog leap on it, or will they chicken out? Seal or sell, a show of power, or night in gale, or the dunes, lies an owl, or path of wisdom. The horse or the whore that sees the bee avenue or path, that two are humming as the frog leaps from the crown to the golden heart when the eagle leaves the nest. And the Eagles were home for the game yesterday, so now they're leaving the nest. I think my daughter said the Super Bowl's in Arizona, which I don't know anything about, but I assume that's Phoenix. So, which is very significant because there the phoenix rises. So, because the frog says, "Go Eagle," but the cosmic egg has a frog in their throat, blocking them from nesting the dream from their heart, to explore the world like a frog and see it like an eagle, to be present locally in the murky waters and then zoom out to broaden the gaze away from the struggles, which was something that came up online between the frog and the eagle. And that was tandfonline.com, tandfonline.com. So at 351 is the Empress and the King of Swords, where the first card here is so the bee watches the eagle dive as the crocodile chimes in, biting off their nose to spite their face, and the bird at a crossroads of 8 legs and which way to turn. The Eagle Bee CRO, which can be a research organization, case report form as well, or clinical research organization, but the Eagle Bee CRO, no matter what that acronym means to you, on Terra, Christ to the second degree, in the University of Angels, or the throne of the ant in the University of Angels, or perhaps Los Angeles, or UCLA, or Tara Ant in LA or Louisiana, with 2 cards here, the camel who's blue with water load, and like the moth to the flame, drawn to the fire because they have too much water in them. The fire of the sun and Sagittarius, as on the 29th was coming up, because this was the 27th, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Eagles at home at 3 p.m., which is the time of Jesus on the cross. And then the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chiefs in Kansas City at 6:30. So the Eagles lay gold and face B Chiefs, which I wrote down on the 27th. So the B was coming up as the Bengals, and that game, so I was writing down here that the Chiefs would win. I don't know if they did or not, but Eagles lay gold and face the quote-unquote B Chiefs. So the ones who win. So then now you have the eagles versus the shaman energy. And at 4:03, which is the emperor and the empress, the eagle's dark horse loved to come up from behind. Behind. The dark knight faces the hermit looking for gold. It looks as though the 49ers get beat as the dark knight rides right over the hermit to get to the Queen of Pentacles, Earth, with Cancer, or on the road with the Empress, the Page of Pentacles and Knight of Cups, or Virgo. Virgo might be with Mother, or Virgo Cancer Mother and 2 kids, or sends an invite to offer love, or Taurus Page of Pentacles stop by to offer some love, having to face the King of Wands Shaman and the Page of Swords to get to the Page of Cups, or that sweet, pure, innocent love, or puppy love, as Teddy walks in. Or the King of Wands steps up with a message, or to bat, preventing the Knight of Cups from getting to the Page of Cups, or the dog, or the bee, or the carpenter welcomes them at the door. So again, there's this energy of something that could be threatening at the door, like a bee at the door, or a dog at the door, or the carpenter at the door. Maybe they're working on the door, so they're in the way of them getting in. At 4:10, which is 0 behind 41, which is the Ace of Cups, but also the 4 of the Emperor and the 10 of Destiny, and that high vibration, where the cards at the end here were 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, so 9 cards altogether. The King of Pentacles offers help or work to lover, love or Gemini or twin. The King of Swords may be standoffish here with the Queen of Cups in their heart, as the High Priestess Secret Keeper for the Emperor tells all, inspiring them to choose a new path or offer a passion project or ultimatum. Could be Virgo Cancer to Gemini, or King of Swords to aid him as the Emperor to deliver messages or packages to inspire him to be more creative or passionate. At 4:15, which is tax day. So somebody might be being more creative with their taxes this year. So the underlying energy, after aligning with sudden wealth of 11 and 777 of hitting the jackpot, the 6 of the lovers breakthrough, or Gemini or Libra or Taurus here, with the King of Wands in courtship as the Emperor, or to move in together and marry as 4 and 3, or the Emperor and the Empress, coming together through the labyrinth, each in their own time, to get to the middle with joy, but on the journey of despair, or the pair, or lost a job and out of work, or patience and balance and angels and a message of concern. Starting prior to that, and I was just getting the priory, which does come up later in another read. So starting prior to that, a fishy exchange with the Knight of Cups community, and the Ace of Cups love bringing up wounds from deep down under, with the Queen of Wands thief and Taurus, or the Hierophant family tree, clearing out the trunk, or the family was robbed or cheated, leaving the Queen of Cups to toil and labor, or work their fingers to the bone, as the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands with high honors and cracking codes of wealth of the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or legacy, or hitting the jackpot in the family breakthrough with the King of Wands, or Leo with Libra or Gemini, or the King of Wands and their kids in a courtship or marriage, or married into money, or one child is dating and the other is married, so it's kind of like the parents are like, oh, we got that taken care of, and now free to come together if they can put the puzzle pieces together on the journey of despair, or the pair, and a message of concern of a higher love or magnitude, with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Cups, perhaps siblings or mother and child, or a pet here, with Sagittarius, Pisces, or child or pet of the King of Wands and Queen of Wands, and the father, boyfriend, or brother messaging the child to come visit and or bring their pet. Or child is Sagittarius and Pisces, and the Page of Cups is the high vibe journey, or the Pisces bringing the Page of Cups pet to visit the King of Wands and the Page of Swords, or taking a train, which in the card is the F.W. Baker train. And that was interesting because the main Baker came up in one of our dreams that night at 4:35, which is the Emperor and the Wounded Warrior, or the 9 of Wands. So Libra taking the train, or travel, transiting the Page of Swords child, or Scorpio child, who likes to talk or too busy, who likes to talk at a busy occupation, or who's occupied by energetic exchange or a lot of back and forth, the hours of love, conversation, travel, perhaps with an 18-year-old, or a moon child or Cancer, or Libra taking Scorpio or air sign child or pet to see Cancer or young girl or 18-year-old with unexpected income or inspired by unexpected incoming, and the Knight of Wands with a new passion to commit to home with the King of Cups or the Emperor's Court, or two kids or siblings getting a house together. Sagittarius, Pisces, Libra, Scorpio, Cancer, and Aries all here, perhaps Gemini, Page of Swords, or someone's train is coming in, inspiring the changing of hands, or Penny changes hand, with Penny is actually the health organization in Pennsylvania for insurance. So they could be changing hands, but it was going from service to self to not committed to self energies. So that was a good sign. And then at 4:44, Teddy was staring at me. So there's something about a dog too. And he's been acting very strange this week. Haven't you? Yes. He was with the energies last night of the game in the air, he was very paranoid about what was going on out there. So the hermiting the changes, moving or a new car or new house, or proposal to move, perhaps packing up two families in a big move, or going to the home show or the car show with a new opportunity, or someone inspires another to make changes, or antique roadshow. Somebody could just be watching that on TV at 4:47, which is the Emperor, and then the 4 to 7, the Heart to the Crown. Maybe that raises your vibration watching antique roadshow because it really inspires you. So go for it. And then 47, which is the 7 of Cups of synchronicities and lots of options and perhaps illusions and feeling confused if it's too much for you. And remembering to stay centered. So, all right, so that was the first one. So I'm going to give you the second read now. This is number 2, for those of you who are just chiming in. So here is number 2. And it is 47:05. That'll be easy to remember because we just brought up 47. So at 47 minutes is number 2. And we have the Journey of Love, the Ascension deck, then the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, the half deck, and then the mixed deck of Lenormand and the Kipper decks as one deck. Okay, so I'll bring them in a little bit closer, set up exactly the same way as the first, but so you can see the cards closer. Okay, sorry if you can't read them all, but I usually do state all the cards that I go through. Okay. All right, so before we hit number 2, I'd just been doing a little bit of remote writing and the messages that had come up. And I went to the beach, not yesterday, but the day before. It was a beautiful day. It was like 50 degrees and sunny, beautiful and sunny. So, and the energies I was getting a lot of like tying the knot or the bows coming up on the messages, and Mary Magdalene kept coming up. And my name came up again as well. Again, for you guys, when I bring this to you, is because it's representing the Divine Feminine, and that's how my guides bring it to me. So Mary Magdalene jumps into tying the knot and doing a little jig. 2 humans with space between. The muscle man with the weight of the world on his shoulders also coming up, which also can represent Ismail Perez, because, you know, he's very big. And then this came up again. This was a design that came up for me, which I showed you guys at some point. It was a couple weeks back. But again, there's that energy of 28 and 86, but that also reflects 68 and 82. Also, 6868 came up multiple times. It was 12:12 a.m. and my mail was at 6868, and I had seen license plate 6868 on the way down the shore that day. So that's the Page of Pentacles, very significant. And the 12:12 is the Hanging Man, hanging out, seeing the perspectives, being wise, as the students of life, both the same. 2 hanging out, the Page of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles. And then the 11, 22, 66, and 88 came up of Justice, the Fool's Journey, the Spiraling Heart of the Queen of Pentacles, and then the 88 being the 2 twins, both integrated into their masculine and feminine, doing the dance on their own, and then coming into that, waiting for that third 8 to tip them over into the infinity symbol, then incorporating both of them hooked in together. The Justice on the Fool's Journey, the Queen of Pentacles at the Golden Gate in the Crazy Eights dance, the Justice of the Fool and the Queen of Pentacles dancing side by side. And then I got more messages of Iron Man, irony, Evie and the moon. Again, the text messages, the names John and James both came up, and the moon. And the moon was coming up like the man with balls as well. So the text message, the language, Skalt Sami, came up, which is spoken in Finland, Russia, and Norway. It's a very small population, but that was coming up significantly. And SMS also means to follow, and it means suns and moons in Pokemon, which then my daughter brought up that suns and moons are in this one song that's on her list that we always listen to. So the Iron Mans with balls in Skalt Sami, or perhaps Finnish, Russian, or Norway, or Norwegian, tie the bow or knot, and then the Evie Pearl was coming up, because the feminine is the one who threads the pearl, right? Remember that comes up with the feminine lineage, right? Because she births out the lineage for both the masculine and the feminine. So she is the thread between all of them, between all of the pearls. This also has to do with to spell and unwrap the baby bottle. And I couldn't find that particular language because I was looking it up to see what I love you was in that language. But the only one I found was Northern Sami. There's 3 different ones. I didn't find the Skalt Sami. There was no translations unless you subscribed or something to one of the websites. So in Northern Sami, I love you was Mina, M-I-N-A with 2 dots over the A, Rakastan, R-A-K-A-S-T-A-N, and then Sinua, S-I-N-U-A, is I love you. Mina, Rakastan, Sinua. It makes me think of my father because my father's name was Constantine, and his nickname was Stan and Kos. And you have Ray, and then Kos, and then Stan. And then Sinua is like sine wave. Sinu, and then human with connections. So, and snow came up as Lumi. That's significant because the movie Snow Girl came up. And Northern Lights came up for translation as well, which was Revontule. Revontule, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It's R-E-V-O-N-T-U-L-E-T. Okay. So on the 28th, I did this number 2 read. And this was done, the day the 28th added up to 36, which is the 10 of Wands, the Atlas energy of the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's also the 3-6/9, the 3-6-9 energy, which is significant. So the 10 of Wands, right, ending that cycle, the energy of the weightlifter carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, as Ismael came up. And then the 2 of Wands of the twin flames and the choice of path. And the 28 is that twin flames, the 2 of Wands, carrying the weight of the world. And definitely saw some off-the-hook energies that repeat messages I gave you already on license plates on the way down the shore. And besides the 6868 I saw, both in my mail and the plates, I saw separate 68s on other plates. There's a lot of 68s out there of the Page of Pentacles. So this number 2 read starts at 6:58 when I cut the first deck to 7:02. The 58 of the 4 of Swords, the 59 of the 5 of Swords, 7 o'clock is the Chariot with double zeros or source energy behind it. That was the Wild Unknown deck. And then 7:01 was the half deck, and 7:02 the Lenormand KIPPER deck, which is the Chariot and the Divine Feminine, or higher self. The 7 is also the key. There's also other energies. Gamma comes up with 7 as well. Also, the number 31 was coming up a lot on the way home from the shore. And 31 is that it can be that chaos, I wanted to say crayon and chaos at the same time. The chaos of life card for Jesus on the cross, the suffering of Jesus. And 31 is the Five of Wands, which can be conflict and battles, but it also can be play and fun. But you know, you're dealing with a group of people. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't quite get along with somebody else, or they don't resonate with each other, so that may cause conflict. What came up from Gematria, 46312 didn't come up, but 4631 I looked up, and the first entry was a quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Number 2 is assume I'm telling you. Assume they lie about literally everything. Number 3 was I will shut everyone out unless and until you free me. Number 4 is she is condemning the dark brown-haired Moshiach, and I wrote dark drowned hair, but I meant to write a B there. Moshiach in exchange for wealth from blonde man's family. The 5th entry was beautiful, lovely, pretty, liberty, official, theory, living. The 6th was December 31st, so there's that 31 coming up again. And Mario noticed everyone at clone-based only picked on Swan. So the underlying energy was at 712, the Chariot and the Hanging Man, in a bold move to ascend, to travel, to move, and see new perspectives, or have a bright idea, and keep your ego in check, you know. The 35 of the Wounded Warrior and intimacy here. The 47 of Marco and Polo, of course, coming up. And then it reminded me of Dick Van Dyke, because his video came across the feed, because he had read a speech. And it was wonderful to see his face, because he was always such a happy, friendly guy, very positive. And I hadn't seen him around for ages. So Marco Polo came up, and then Dick Van Dyke, and noticed that Dick Van Dyke is Dick, and then Dyke. So there's this energy of that energy coming up. I don't know if it's prejudice or just referencing a lesbian relationship that's coming up here, or it's energy like, you know, Dick versus Dyke. Sorry, Dick, I don't mean to I'm sure you've heard much worse, but that's the message that's coming up regarding this read. But the intimacy of the Wounded Warrior, saying Marco, and then having someone automatically answer Polo, the Frog in the World of 21, and the 5 of the Mature Man, and then intimacy coming up as in Tim, AC, or Whispering Bench, the top dog, I am, or instant messaging. The alternating currents of the top of the rocket or toilet paper, or TP, literally a Indian TP, and Christ. The alternating currents between the shaman and that high vibration etheric realm energy. The Wounded Warrior, Marco sync, with choices of surrendering to heaven in their eyes, with the frog in the rain to leap to the nightingale, around the world if needed, naked with twin DNA strands, or sticks for the little drummer boy's one-man band that she's providing him. The mature man looks at the divine feminine, or Pisces, or the world, travel, the atlas, the globe, the Hierophant Taurus, or free to charge or expand and change, perhaps standing at the North Pole or staring at the North Pole with the deadline of the North Node changing hands from Taurus to Aries on July 18th, 23. So 21 is a 3 and 23 is a 5, and 3-5 came up not only as the intimacy card, as the first card out, but in the numbers of the piles I pulled out, 3 and 5 were up there as well. So 21-3 of the World and 23-5 of the King of Wands. And then Marco, who's the 5th ray of technology, science, and knowledge, assists Hilarion, and Mark and Hillary were coming up, as well as Pisces energy, as being in common, and the intimate connection with the stars, with Roger Daltrey. I was getting intimate connection with the stars. Roger Daltrey, me that. The who? Pisces is who, and so I looked up Roger Daltrey, and yep, he's a Pisces. March 1st, 44, Love Rain on Me, on a world tour with or as a mature man. So at 7:32, which is the Chariot and the Journey. The 41 of Mary Magdalene, knowing without knowing. And the 43 of the Bride offering herself. The 7 of shifting universes, and the 23 across the waters of both hands and hearts. The capital M of the Mary Magdalene and Hercules and the Mother, and carrying the weight of the world, waiting for the world to catch up, while she in the vortex, and again, Notting Hill is what I always forget, the town I always forget, I don't know why, it's the simplest thing. But she may be the one I can't forget. So she in the vortex, with keys and music symbols, and Notting Hill, with the King of Wands hands across the waters, and Uncle Albert, as she in the wall, as the knot of Notting Hill in the pink, and the bird Hercules of the 44 and her harvests, ringing of time, the old bird 66 coming together in the heart, as she carries TP on her back, a triangular vortex or spiraling top hat. Where it ends up, nobody knows. In the shift from vortex to vortex, from the chaos of the storm to being in the wall integrated like the Philadelphia experiment into the wall of the ship, but seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. With water, Cancer, and fire coming together through the 3D rings of time, coming together in the Golden Gate spiral, while grounded in ground 0 point, the lovers healing together in the vortex of intimacy, and the collapsible lens. And lens came up a lot. My brother's name is Len, so I remembered it because his name is Len. But the lens came up today as well. The collapsible lens. And then remember, intimacy is what we started out with, which was the wounded warrior going through this, the surrender of intimacy, allowing themselves to be vulnerable to someone else. And the wall was coming up, referencing Pink Floyd as well. And at 7:49, the 49ers and the 7 of the key, the shuddering, and there's that shuddering of fear of the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shebang. And then Chitty Chitty Bang Bang's coming up now at 4:05, which is again the stability of 4 and the freedom of 5 and the space between. Chitty Chitty, is that Dick Van Dyke? Oh my God. So that is Dick Van Dyke, isn't it? I would never even have thought of that. So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So he's coming in. I mean, he's still here, but he's coming up again. So I don't know if he's doing something else. He's maybe he's becoming more prominent online. At 7:49 is he had of course a few million views, I think, just from the one I listened to. It was a speech that was it Martin Luther had written. He was at President somebody's speech, which was a beautiful speech about how we should respect each other. So you might want to check that out. It should be pretty easy to find online. But at 7:49, and again the 49ers in the key, the 7 of the Chariot, and the 9 of Cups of being satisfied with oneself. The first card here of the 50 and the cloak of the family ties, and then the show family ties is coming up here. The 64 of the sensual awakening to bliss, of the 3 of the Empress, the earth, and the abundance of the burning hero of she may be the one you can't forget. Because she's coming up here as the burning hero, right? And that's one of the wounds for the masculine, is that they are supposed to be the hero. She's not supposed to help them. He's supposed to save her. So, and again, it's supposed to be an equal partnership. So 1-3 cards and beauty with the 58 and rest from being the burning hero, her harvest. And now I'm getting Harvey. I guess I'm supposed to bring up Harvey Eisenberg. So Harvey Eisenberg is a friend of the family, but he's also famous from his CT that was on the Oprah show. It was a full-body CAT scan with no contrast dye that could pre-diagnose things, to see if you have any cancer in your body. But I actually had one of his CTs when I had my back injury. So I can definitely recommend it. But Harvey may be coming up in a different way for you. But if you're in California, that's where he's based. So you might want to check it out if you're in need of that. 25, 48, and 28 also came up here with the Knight of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the 2 of Wands. The question remains so deep for such a simple man. Man of the earth, woman of the sky, ladies lay down their hair for the cause in the vortex, the solar plexus congestion and connection, the quantum entanglement and sacred convergence of the twin flames. Rest until a question emerges from the heart, inspiring you to go within to sacred convergence and display at the waterside or fire water works. fireworks and waterworks of the Liberty Flame in the harbor, again referencing Lady Liberty and Ellis Island. At 8:32, the dance of the journey and the underlying energy of Lady Portia. The 32 of the journey of justice and karma and open-mindedness, letting go of judgment, as Lady Portia is teaming up with Lady Liberty. The 44 of El Moria and journey of Hercules, her harvest. El Moria is the Kohan of the first ray. And remember, Kohan is spelled many ways. It can be spelled as coin, C-O-I-N, or C-H-O-H-A-N, or C-O-H-A-N, like co-pilots and Han Solo. But El Moria is the Kohan of the first ray of action. As the movie that was going on, a bomb was going off, he is the White Brotherhood from, he's in the White Brotherhood from Mercury, helping with the changes and opportunities for ascension. He will soon become the Manu, the perfected man, on whom the root race of humanity, with its 12 strands, will be based. Okay? So that's El Moria. And El everything has been coming up like crazy in my reads. So lead by example with self-discipline, strength, and integrity of an ascended master. Use your power for the highest good. I stand in my power. The 5 of freedom in the gold ray of Christ, and the blessings pour unto you with unconditional love held within the cosmic heart at the 9th dimension. Ask it to flow through you and surrender you with its golden light, that you can relax and know you are safe. Remember to send the gold ray of Christ to others as well, and say, I am the gold ray. The 11 of the moon and the causal chakra of the universe, radiating the divine feminine energies, to practice love, wisdom, and compassion, intuition and inclusiveness, and discretion and oneness, discernment, to go within and listen to your divine feminine wisdom. The 7 of the chariot and the fire dragon and the 4D elementals that can access and transmute heavy vibrations that the angels can't reach. Sent out So you're supposed to send Thor and his dragons, supervised by Gabriel or Mercury, out to consume negativity in places and auras, and ask Gabriel's angels to replace any negative energies with a shimmering diamond of pure light. Call on the fire dragon for your aura to transmute and raise your own frequencies to radiate the enthusiasm and joy. Marco, which is 47 of the heart to the crown, who's from Saturn with the Ashtar command, and assisting in the 5th ray with Hilarion, open communications and connections from other star systems and universes, so to ask Marco to assist and protect you. At 8:51, the dance of the King of Swords, and the amethyst skull, and Akashic records, of course. The 21 of the world and Atlantean wisdom kept in the inner planes. Look for the higher perspective, the highest perspective, in a situation that presents, with all the facts first, and then take a decision with wisdom and integrity. The 24 of the Queen of Wands and Lemurian healing, where the 5D Lemurians drew love of God through to the cosmic heart into this planet, which is like what you're doing now. They gathered divine qualities from our energy fields and of other star systems or stars, adding this to the pure source light energy to form healing crystals to help us through to the new golden age that we're dealing with now, placed in the earth to light up the ley lines for us. Even now, when 2 or more gather with humility to focus these crystals, powerful healing takes place. And again, here's where that movie Hallelujah came up with Leonard Cohen. So there's that, my brother's Lenny, but Leonard Cohen also came up here. And notice Cohen is Kohan. It's H-E-N normally, but it's still the same energy. And he was talking about in the movie, and the movie ended at 12:12, which brought up 6868 of the students of life dancing side by side, and his partner talking about him. The month of Elul, which is September of Yom Kippur, and he talked about in the movie how he was going to change his name, his first name, to September. He didn't say why, but then they were contemplating why by bringing up the month of September. And after I watched that movie, I was inspired to play piano as well. And Teddy was singing with me. He was getting his squeaky toys and singing with me. It was so cute. And then I said, Teddy, thank you for singing with me. And then I started playing again. He started singing with me again. It was so cute. I'll have to get him, see if I can find different squeaky toys that are specific notes and see if I can teach him to sing with me. So even now, when two or more gather with humility, we talked about that already. The 25 Knight of Wands comes up here, dissolving veils to become fully enlightened. Take mastery between the spirit world, practice unconditional love, honor animals and nature, walk with the masters and angels, see all is connected, and finally live as an enlightened being. You're invited to ask the unicorns to work with you to remove the veils. And the affirmation is, I am one with everything. So then the cards at the end came up for this pile. The Sphinx with the 20 in the wake-up call to the 5D records for Earth and the information in the crystal skulls. To visit the tunnel at the Sphinx, the hollow Earth, a portal of wisdom linked to the ascended Mars. To radiate peace and oneness throughout the universe. And then 37, 34, 46, 29, and 9 all came up as the King of Cups, the energetic exchange of the 8 of Wands, the 6 of Cups children, and the 3 of Wands being present in the moment, and then the Hermit. So I express, I believe, I open, I visit. I am the cosmic heart. And this was just what I was getting, okay, when I started this. I express, I believe, I open, I visit. I am the cosmic heart. So then Paul the Venetian comes in at 9:19. There's September and 19, which I was born just before 9:19. I was born the 18th at midquarter. So Paul the Venetian of the third ray, Kohan of the third ray, to lift and set your soul free to create beauty and inspiration through music and art and practical ways. Visions and people are touched by these creations, where Paul carries the flame of liberty and is helping to set you free, with Saint Germain 34 and the violet flame of the alchemist and the magician transforming. You can use the violet flame to make miracles happen. With the 46 of the 6 of Cups and Hilarion, the 5th ray of orange, with seeds of new ideas. And the orange ray of the sacral chakra comes up there. But also the seeds of new ideas to help you become channels and clairvoyants. So they each have their specialties, so you call on the different ones I'm bringing up to help you with those certain specialties. Sit quietly and ask to be all that you can be. The 29 of the Intergalactic Council is present with gifts. And the council consists of Marco, according to the Ascension deck, is Marco, Hilarion, Jesus, Ashtar, but Ashtar is a command that, according to Elena Denon, it's not actually a specific person, so it could be a group soul, like many of these are group souls. They're not actually a person or a certain being. Kathumi comes up, El Moria, Paul the Venetian, Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, Lady Nada, Serapis Bey, Lord Maitreya. Ask Angel Butylil to take you there in meditation or sleep and offer to serve the universe. Then 9 comes up with the cosmic heart, the Hermit, to tune into Venus or the heart of the universe. And 9, again, 9th dimensional unconditional love. So 9D is coming up a lot today, which doesn't normally come up ever. You may be getting to the point where your vibration is able now to handle some of the 9D vibration, because it is a very high vibration. Call Mother Mary or unicorns to tune you into this very high vibration. And again, that could have to do with my right vibration in my ear, right? Trying to get me to tune into a new vibration. So tune into this very high vibe to a level that you can handle by bringing it to your heart center. Getting it to a resonance that you can handle. Breathe it in and radiate out to everyone today. And Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all came up here as the planets, as well as Mu or Lemuria and the Atlantis Sphinx. At 9:33, the Hermit and the Christ vibration, or the 7 of Wands of standing up for yourself, with the deer and the moth, the camel blue, the butterfly transforming and the fish out of water, the beaver hardworking, the peacock and the frog back to back, sorting it out, reconciling self, and that can be the twins. The frog longing for the nightingale, as the eagle is diving, going after the what did I write? Oh, going after the pearl. So the eagle's diving, going after the pearl, into the oyster with their feelers out, their hairs on end, right? Feel the love, right? Feel your way. So then the cards at the end were the hawk clearing the way to the buffalo and the horse, Taurus and Sagittarius, at 9:43 of the Hermit and the Three of Cups, and the underlying energy of the Emperor, with the Six of Cups, the High Priestess and the Devil, and the Empress, where the Emperor looks away as the High Priestess and Empress wave to the kids, or Pisces and Capricorn with the Empress or Taurus, or seeing the sister as the Devil or Capricorn. Or the Empress's soulmate, High Priestess, is always waving between them, as the Empress is with the King of Wands, the Sovereign, and the Page of Swords, getting the Empress on his side, as the Knight of Pentacles is offering to help the world, the Divine Feminine or Pisces, working to come full circle, perhaps a new girlfriend offering to help the kids. I don't know if the old girlfriend or wife will be okay with that. All right, so at 9:51 is the Fool, the Chariot, and the Two of Wands, or the Twin Flames. The Divine Feminine freed by travel and options offered here. The Divine Feminine, Pisces, Aries, or Cancer freed by the Twin. With one card at the end, Dark Night, the death or ending, last rites or transformation coming up here. And then 9:54, which 54 would be written that way, 54-9, is the Hermit and the Page of Swords, or the message. And Mercury coming up there. And the Virgo Mercury. So we can have both the Virgo and the Gemini Mercury energy there of the messenger. And there's two air signs because we just had the 51 above the 54. That's the King of Swords and the Page of Swords. So the underlying energy of the 12 of the Hanging Man and the Privileged Lady, the 31 of bad health, the 14 of the message of concern. I was just getting Mecca right there. Mecca came up again today. The Queen of Swords with flowers and the 9 of the Hermit. The 29 of the Ace of Swords and the Venus Power Lady, the 14 of the Fox and the 9 of Wands, the Wounded Warrior, and the 28 of the Ace of Cups and the Power Man from Mars, which can reference, what's his face? I'm blanking. Elon Musk. That can represent Elon, the Power Man from Mars. And the 28 of the Loving Man with the Rose, the 10 of the Page of Pentacles with discernment, cutting through the crap to get to the world. And it's just getting word as well, to get to the word. The 5 of the Mature Man. Pisces Sag with health concerns. Virgo Queen of Swords Hermit with gifts or flowers or flowers. Nursing Angel or marital gifts. Watching Sagittarius or Fox Wounded Warrior leaving the hen house perhaps. Going from 28 to 28, or twin flame to twin flame, or from one path to another, transforming self to loving man, cutting out the chaff to get to the soft spot, free mature man of the world with map of intent, or atlas. The first card here of the 30, which is the 4 of Wands, perhaps the King of Swords is home with calla lilies, or just lilies, or stain, ED, glass. So it could be stained glass or stain, ED, which can be extra dimensional, it can be educational, whatever that means to you, glass. And that could be a stained, glass ceiling. As the ship sails away unanchored, with the weight of the world and nowhere to land, with pie in the sky and never, never land, and where did the ocean go after all, which was weird because that came up in my dream the other night. I swear it was just here before. And then 38 with 36, the Queen of Cups and the Atlas, 10 of Wands energy. The burn bridges, burden, or burning bridges with the church, her cross to bear. The 6 of Wands bringing good news, leading the way through the labyrinth to come together, each in their own time and way, following their synchronicities at 10:06, which is destiny and high vibe energy of the lovers or love, family, and community. And this movie, like I said, Leonard Cohen, ended at 12:12 with 6868 on the license plate that I'd seen. All right, so now we're getting to number 3, and it is 119. So it went from 47 to 19. That should be pretty easy to remember. And this is number 3. So here we have the journey at the top, then we have the past life deck, Then we have the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook, then the half deck of Rider-Waite with just the characters, and then my mixed deck of Lenormand and Kipper. So I'm going to pull it up so you can see the cards better. Okay, and the same thing. 3 cards are pulled out. Sometimes a 4th card will pop out, but that's okay. And then the numbers at the end that I count for numbers, but I also use the cards in the read. Okay, and 3 cards are pulled for each. The underlying energy is on the left. So first there's more messages here from writing analysis. And it was very interesting here because a lot of female doctors I know were coming up, and I was the common thread. So all of these feminine doctors. Also JMS came up as well, which is actually Jenkintown Music School, which is something in my area, and it's my daughter's initials. But New York also came up, and Penny, and then Bunny and Benny came up again. And the divine feminine energies with the bow. So the bow, or the tying the knot, keeps coming up here. The rolling stone of the MM, the EE, WW33, which MM is Mary Magdalene. It can be Mother Mary, but it comes up as Mary Magdalene here with the wounded warrior. Mary Magdalene, the EE of the energetic exchange, the WW of the wounded warrior, and the 33 of the Christ vibration. Tied up in a bow or on either end at 1144, which is justice and alignment, and Hercules, her harvest, the 4 of Cups, can be boredom and apathy, but also is learning how to ground and integrate the receiving of love. The muscle man carrying the weight, the scales of reflecting women of Mary Magdalene and Lilith in Leo, as the bird is soaring across the plains as bookends, the flying boats or seaplanes that can land on the water, planing or gliding in, the end of the story of the English patient when his plane crashes and she is alone injured in the cave. So again, the energy of at the 11th hour, the moment before the rescue happens, and then we come back to the present where he's a burned man in bed with his nurse. So Curry and Curreg came up, as well as the parentheses, the pair ENT, which is the giant talking tree, and he sis, or his sister, or Jesus, she, and suffering in silence, and the inequity of hanging on the cross. And then CM comes up from this deck. LG also came up. Lewy bodies came up, which is related to my family as well, because my father's father wasn't his biological father, which we didn't know till about 15 years ago, and we accidentally found out. And when I went searching for my biological grandfather, my father's biological father, we're pretty positive that it is the man I found. And it happened to be another doctor who studied Lewy bodies and Parkinson's, or what was it? He'd done some research in Brazil. But anyway, so Lewy bodies came up, and Lewy is an English name. So then the English patient comes up as well again. And the name Amy came up, as well as Lewy body, which was named after Frederick Lewy, 1885 to 1950, which is an abnormal, and AB was coming up separately prior to this as well. So abnormal, and that can represent AB blood as well, an aggregate of protein that develops inside the nerve cells. And it's from mayoclinic.org, is the second most common dementia after Alzheimer's, with decrease in mental abilities, visual hallucinations, and changes in alertness and attention, and Parkinson's signs and symptoms. So besides the regular Alzheimer's and this, there's vascular dementia as well, which is a series of small strokes. And Lewy body dementia is what Robin Williams had, and this was at 1221, and it's abbreviated LBD. The depletion of certain neurotransmitters in the brain, of dopamine, which controls muscle, and acetylcholine, which is memory, thinking, and processing. And the picture at the bottom of this page, I was drawn to it because it had another bow around the finger for memory, but that bow keeps coming up, tying the knot. But that was referencing memory lapse or dementia. And then, like, even when you go to the bathroom, guys, there's messages for you there sometimes in the shapes that you see. So again, the number 8 and the bow was coming up, and the 1221, the ash of the A and the E, which is the bow, the balance and the scales. And again, remember the Atlas energy of the guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He is the scales. He's balancing the weight of the world on his shoulders. And again, the energy of complements and that perfect balance of this balancing of the scales. And I was getting scalar here as well. At 12:24 to 25, which is the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, hanging out, or the Hanging Man, seeing new perspectives, I remembered a dream again. So 2 days in a row, I remembered my dreams, which I never remember my dreams. And it was about a wedding that I had planned like a long, long time ago. But it came up in my dream because the florist called and canceled the order. I'm like, what the heck? And I remember in the dream it was Sunday and the wedding was Friday, but the flowers were canceled. And when I thought about it, I realized I'd booked it so long ago, I didn't know if I still had a venue because I hadn't paid attention to it at all. It had just been booked so long ago. And did I even remember to send invites out? And I don't think I had. And then but I wasn't stressing out about it. I'm like, oh, well, at least if I didn't put invites out, then no one's going to care if there's no flowers or no wedding, or if I have no venue. Or it could just be something small. It wouldn't be an issue. But the energy from the dream was that neither of us were bothered by that fact, which was good, right? Dealing with stressful situations. So LBD with the Lewy body dementia and the right angle transition and the leap to the female Christ whispering bench, whereas the C is the Christ consciousness, whereas the opposite of that is the other parenthesis, comes up as the female whispering bench. And LBD, by the way, is also little back dress. And Lilith, Leo, was coming up. And then LBD was also coming up as LB, as pounded. Smashed or gained weight, perhaps. And again, the bow and the 8 kept coming up. But the 8 wasn't a symmetrical 8. It was like a bow. It was saying it doesn't have to be equal on both sides. Like one of the O's on the 8 could be oval and the other one could be round. But it was specifically coming up that way. And today also a message of, looked like just a pair of pants where the left foot was bending in towards the right foot, which was more straight. But it also looked like the picture looked like kind of like a giraffe from the back. Like you just see its ears up and you could see like there was a nose in front, but you couldn't see its face. But it was like all bent up in a weird position, like a dog would sit, where a giraffe I don't think would sit that way. But that's what it looked like. And if that means something to you, let me know in the comments. Yeah, and any of you guys, please let me know any of your thoughts in the comments. It's good to share your downloads because then you activate other people's downloads and confirm their downloads. It really helps them out. So if you can, help each other out. So this third one, as I went into this third read, I was looking at the cards on the table here, and I was noticing the Emperor and the King of Cups over there, reversed. And I was getting the scales, the polarity of the controlling and out of control, or alcoholic. And that the final card in this read was the Journeyman, who's in the middle of those two, right, bringing good news instead. So with your read, you started at 1244 to 1250 on the 29th, the 44 of the 4 of Cups through the 50 of the 10 of Cups. And the piles at the end were 3, 2, 1, 1, and then 3. And so I looked up 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, and it did come up. And it was everywhere I look, I see 11. And again, this is coming up from Gematria. And there were 68 hits on that line. So I noticed the 68, of course. But everywhere I look, I see 11. You notice that 11 has Eve in it, representing the Divine Feminine. And L, which I told you keeps coming up off the hook this week. And then N at the end can represent the evenness, but also lowercase n and en for me is Jesus. The second entry was Dmitrij, Dmitrij, and then Anatolevich. It wasn't Anatol. It was Anatolevich. I see at the end. Medvedev. And there's 35 hits for that. 3 was number 18. American Pharoah wins Kentucky Derby. There are 27 hits on that. The 4th entry was YHSYK, JWSK is the key name. There were 26 hits on that. The energy of the last deck, the Lenormand KIPPER deck, there were 3, and then there were some more cards that came out to tell a bit of a story. And story is STORY, which is the path or the Y in the road, literally, where there's a new offshoot or a new track, right? Because you're on a single path, and then it becomes the Y in the road. And then the Lenormand Kip was coming up again as Leonard Cohen, and Kip is the nurse's boyfriend in The English Patient with the landmines. And then Hallelujah by Candlelight and Swing. So remember when he did that with her to see the art wall, the art on the upper walls of the place where she was staying with the English Patient. So it was bringing up to combine all these things like he did, right? Leonard Cohen wasn't the best singer. He was an older man when he started writing, and it took him a long time to write songs, but he was just authentic to who he was. And so it's saying Hallelujah by Candlelight and a Swing would go perfectly in that environment. It was considered like a prayer song where everybody could relate to it. Combining, which then Columbine came up as well as Columbia, and Columbia came up in Rocky Horror the other day. The song, the mood, and the artwork, so they're talking about the time warp dance. There's all sorts of ways of combining music and art and poetry or anything else. But they were bringing it up as song, mood, and artwork. The 5th entry is, I ask, O God, Lord, are we truly in our last day? The 6th was Jesus walked on water and land. Not just water, but water and land. The 7th was the glory of Omer 2011, which O-mer for me is mer is sea, and O is the human embodiment of source, right? So the human of the sea, like a mermaid. The glory of the Omer and 2011. And the 8th entry was what dimension is true, JC, from. So they're asking where he's truly from, what dimension. And then the 9th was Psalm chapter 37, verse 4. The 10th was Shrek smoking weed with Yoda and the Hulk. Notice they're all green. And then Ishmael came up for me again. And then the 11th one was signs you are transforming into the person you are meant to be. And the 12th entry was 3728, which is unconditional love and the twin flames. So the YHSYK came up for me, and YHTYA was the closest word to it. To unite, fuse, come together. To concur or copulate. And again, the energies of to unite, and 3HO came up energy as well as JWS energy. And YH and seek, SIKH, seek and Jews energy combined came up, which was so weird because then some of that came up in not necessarily seek, but that type of same type of combination was coming up in his book. The spiritual Kundalini with traditional educational-based religion and alternative healers, like bringing those two different things together, or bringing, in his book he talks about bringing educational-based experience and then spiritual-based experience together, which is what we're doing now. At 120 of the leap or divine masculine to the 20 of the wake-up call of judgment, the 53 of the underlying energy of the legacy of light, spirituality and religion, or education. And again, I brought that up the other day that, Judaism is very much based in education. Hummingbird, the Emperor, and the coffin here, and the number 19, JC, Knight of Swords, Legacy of Light, of the open book test by candlelight with open hands. The light is the binding of the pages. Hands help to keep them open and balanced. A whisper clearing the air at high vibration, and the Emperor hearing something, but not sure what it is. Perhaps thinks it's death calling, or the guilt of those in power causing Jesus' death coming back to haunt him, the energy of death, the coffin, being trapped, imprisoned, or exposing the emperor's death, or knowing what's about to happen, and even when that means death. And this may be a very scary thing for the masculine energy here. At 127, the masculine and the Ace of Wands, of passion, and the underlying energy of the cloak of the family, the 50, the 54 of the Earth Angel, the 55 of acceptance, the 69 of contemplation, and the 44 of rings of time. 21, she is the moon. So the family cloaking of the Page of Swords messenger of truth and acceptance, that fairy tales are real and witnessed, leading to contemplation, or someone's patience, being a patient angel, temple at the connection, or the LA tie-on. And remember, Los Angeles is the city, it's angels. It doesn't have to be the city of angels, it's the angels, and the tie-on is the tiger-lioness connection of the twins. At 130, being the masculine or leap to the union, the Four of Wands, the emotional fulfillment of the Ten of Cups family with the message of truth and a new life, the 44 of Hercules or her harvest and the rings of time, the bird on wheels, or against Superman ending up in a wheelchair, learning to receive love by being disabled, the rings of the tree and boredom turned into something else, the 21 that she is the moon of MOON, of Mary and Jesus. M and N are code for Mary and Jesus for me, the capitals, and then the two humans of the two O's in between, the googly eyes of 21/3, the divine feminine and divine masculine world of abundance, pulling up the rug to find truth and acceptance, an offer of a new life in contemplation, the family truth, and an offer of a new life to not repeat the same mistakes that they made, a world of ethereal inspiration, complete and light as a feather, as the 23 King of Wands across the waters, fire approaches with a gift, the 29 of the spiral dance of the goddess and the ability to procreate, the 34 of the energetic exchange and becoming the arrows of love, and 22 loving all that is by centering and holding space, the 56 of the dance of the planets, which is the play nets, or to play in the grids, playing with nets, or Jesus ETs, or ands, or plus ones, knowing and walking hand in hand. And then the Paul and Linda McCartney card came up for me, but this time it came up as Paul Lind. So Paul Lind came up. His birthday was June 13th, so he's Gemini, 26. He died January 10th, 82 at 55, very young. He was alone in bed and had a heart attack. Apparently he was very cruel when drunk, according to this entry. The story was, and there's lots of articles on this, but he was gay, and of course back then, especially he was like on a family show. He could never have come out that he was gay on the family show. You know, everyone loved him. He was very funny. But he was very cruel when he was drunk. So he lost a lot of friends that way. And he lost, it was probably his lover, I don't know, it didn't say. But he had a 26-year-old friend, actor J.B. Davidson, who was a gay friend who died falling off his hotel balcony, where Paul was actually witnessed by the police trying to save him, but they don't know, you know, people still suspect him of having his hand in why he was off the balcony in the first place. But he had his arm, was trying to pull him back up, but lost his grip. But to be remembered, he wants to be remembered by his light, the message of laughter that he brought. At 151, the Divine Masculine and the King of Swords, the first entry of the 66 Queen of Pentacles, again in coming together of the Beatles and Linda and Paul, with the Knight of Swords spiraling in the heart of Paul and Linda coming together, where actually John wrote that for a business reason, for a political campaign, but they didn't want it. So Paul helped him tweak it a little bit, but it was still John's song, but it was published as John and Paul. It was on Abbey Road, and it was written over 6 sessions, July 21st to the release on October 6th. Dear Boy, Some People Never Know, Bluebird, When the Night, Listen to What the Man Said, and then Seaside Woman were some songs that came up as overlooked, something that Paul and Linda had written together, and that was from Billboard.com. So air sign males and earthier grounded women coming up here with the Beatles. They were Linda was Libra, but she's on the cusp of Virgo Libra, so she probably had a lot of the earthy qualities to her, whereas Paul, Yoko, and John are all air signs. Paul's 618, Yoko is 218, and then John was 10-9, which his son was 10-9 as well. The Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, legacy of light, and the Swan come together, fully exposed by the light field in the middle of the bridge, the suffering and silence of being a target, right? Being a public figure. Stressed, purging in front of the world. The 19 and the 36 of Shakti and the cosmic butterfly. The sunshine and the weight of the world. The feminine masculine and the masculine feminine. With fire and breast cancer awareness, as Linda passed away from breast cancer. The imbalance of the fire was coming up as the reason for her cancer. And the two of within nothing, and Spirit's connecting with me, within nothing there is everything, the womb of the earth. The need to ground air and fire with lots of mud, which is of course earth and water, for a slow burn. Too much air slamming into you causes fire to burn to ash if there's no earth and water to ground it. Practical life is just as important, and the emotions of love, as the energy of the intellect and the fire of the passion. Taming the passion in sex, or what people say is the high life, is actually the low life. To tame it into inspiration and love instead, without the ego. The organic high life. And it was coming up as the high wife. At 213, the divine feminine or higher self, and the transition of death, of endings and transformation. The underlying energy of the farm of the past life, the angels, of leaving and travel, of Egypt reversed, of spirituality and religion as well. Down on the farm, with the barn and the horses, and the angels watching out from above, in this pure open space, and then leaving or travel that relates to the pyramids, the suitcase, the coffin, the tomb, the embalming. Instead of traveling physically to leave Egypt behind for spirituality and religion, trading in angels on the road for a good book, a candle, and open hands. And Abbey Road was coming up here as well. At 217, the higher self, and then the 17 of dreams coming true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. The Atlas energies reversed here, and the death of the dolphins, the pillars, the buried in the sea. Bridging above ground, reflected below the ground and sea, spiritually. That new ships coming in, or coming together, after the lessons and blessings learned with the clock on this card, like I said before, is 1:51:19 or 20 seconds. In the leap of the King of Swords to expose all in a wake-up call to the world, and knighted, which of course then means Paul McCartney and Wings, or Sir, which is funny because Jen and I called Teddy Sir all the time, aligning with fire. So he must have a lot of Cancer in his chart too, Paul, because Teddy's Cancer. And he was very much family oriented. Obviously, he had lost his mother, I believe, at a young age. But Paul McCartney and Wings, or Sir, aligned with fire, as John was not impressed by the Queen Awards. More galactically aligned to Mother Earth. Pure white new ships and knighthood, and a lot of shit that went down between them. Coming together in water under the bridge, coming up roses as the Knight of Pentacles swan, and shiny new ship that got dirtied along the way. In the knighthood, aligned with fire, rejecting galactic alignment with the earth. And again, there's referencing, to the Queen and that whole energy. For any rank of royalty is dubbing one above another human. At 2:30, which is the divine feminine or higher self and the home of the Four of Wands. After the tiger came in to the lamb and the cobra, after the cobra sighted the hyena, the black panther, and the crocodile coming together in the dark, there's definitely a dark meeting here, the dolphin happily is coming out, about the moth to flame, reflecting the swans to the elk, bee, and the hummingbird, or anyone who will listen. A lot of fire with the elk who needs to eat right, the carpenter who's hovering, with messages from the bird behind them, clearing the air, or carrying them in their stream of wind. Remember we had that article about, I saw that information about the bee when they land in water, they'll drown if they don't get to the land, and they use their cupped wings to propel themselves to the beach. And here it was coming up as the bird was coming up from behind the bee, clearing the air, or carrying them in their stream of wind, or hardworking carpenter comes streaming in a group call with twins, or dark and light sides compromising for the couple coming together, or willing to work with them, if the dolphin is able to keep their others in check. And then there was a personal reference for check there as well, but because the dolphin is so pure and happy and high vibe, and then there was a dark meeting behind the dolphin. So he was coming out of this as reporting this wonderful reference or message, but they'd say they're definitely work with the dolphin, but only if they're able to keep the others in check. So at 238, which is the feminine or higher self and the Queen of Cups, the first card here is the octopus, underwater activation that spreads far and wide in a beautiful mind or mine, triggering the scorpion's stinger to shock blue camel. I was just getting blue came 1, like it's a code. Came 1 or came L. That could be somebody's code. Blue came L or blue camel. Or bring some water to the desert. So the beautiful mind or mine is triggering the scorpion stinger to shock the blue camel out of their depression perhaps, or to bring some water to their desert to clear the air and the moody blues, one that's overcharged and one who's undercharged, and mediating their energy sources with underwater sealed vehicles reflecting a camel which seals the water within. Or Jesus heard it through the grapevine and began to lose his head, his beautiful mind, in the October opus or October life's work or the Crazy 8 dance life's work as the octopus teacher, or Richard Dreyfuss and the jaws of life, as Richard reveals why he stepped away from acting in the mirror.co.uk. His son Ben is in trouble for making bad statements about fat people. And I didn't want to read into that too much, right? But in the article it said, I slept with a fat girl once in 2007, weighing a whopping 130 to 140. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 130 to 140, and I'm not fat. And now Richard educates, but the kid admits he's an ass. So like, what can you say to him? He's being his authentic self, I guess, for the moment. Hopefully he raises his vibration. So now Richard educates on civic practices, wanting to save our country. And that's why he stepped away from acting, per the article. At 2:55, the octopus teacher, and it came up because Richard Dreyfuss is a Scorpio, sending off the troops in multiple directions to clear the air with sweet tweets and triggering words to ones who retain water or always had weight issues from a child, where the camel is blue in retaining water weight, and butterflies transforming, children of knights and shark fighters, and those children of those assassinated, and the wounds of their DNA that it carries, as the butterflies or their children, their offspring, struggle with their new wings. And there's that energy of Paul McCartney and wings again. So at 3 o'clock is the underlying energy of the Empress and the Emperor and all between. And again, there's this energy at 3 o'clock, and 9 to 3 came out the other day too, which references Jesus on the cross. The Empress and the Emperor and all between, as Easter also is not too far from now. The King of Wands is looking at the Empress, and the King of Cups lover driven by twin or an ultimatum. Or the King of Wands and King of Cups are leaving the Empress as lovers, or of great affection with each other to travel together, or lead the procession, or ran into a procession while driving, and blocked by a death march or traffic being guided, the warrior and dark knight, or cars all stopped for a presidential brigade, or someone of great importance crossing, or wanting to join the procession or march. And this can represent the playoff game as well, since that would gather that much of a crowd. Or coming in with the troops and refusing to back down until the emperor listens to their demands. It could be a state versus religion issue here, or healthcare issues, knocking out religion as a factor, wanting action, not prayers, or just more controlling bodies. So they're saying we're not really getting more help by their prayers, because it's just one more controlling body or bodies of the emperor, with only the Knight of Wands to stand up for them. At 3:10 is the Empress or abundance, and the 10 of high vibration of destiny, where she, the high priestess with the secret information and the underwater radar connections, with Scorpion self-satisfied with brand new white, clean, shiny, Knight of Pentacles image, ship, car, or home, hermiting changes and shocking the devil, or the ball and chain, or Capricorn, or temptation waving, temptation waving in suffering and silence, or perhaps a sister, or someone stressed out, or codependency and hung out to dry and or blocked, as the Emperor has someone whispering in his ear under cover or in secret, without issue in dealing with the devil, seemingly unaffected by them. With one card here of the King of Swords, the Knight leaving to use their wings, their feminine fire, or weaning themselves from their mother, or the Queen Mother, or Independence Day. At 319, which is the Empress, Mother Nature, and abundance, and the 19 of the Sun, the underlying energy of death at a funeral, the Knight of Wands connected to the Emperor, and a new passion and sudden thoughts of a woman. And I was getting the scent of the woman here. And the Wounded Warrior's path lined with butterflies, exposing a new way of life. Or offer to the King of Pentacles an energetic exchange, which may be fishy or abundant, underwater connection, present. With 29 and imprisonment 7, a message to break, and then scalar coming up here again. A message to break scale or ice or seal in the big house, a judgment or in a gated community, or the psycho house on the journey of despair, or the pair on the magic adventure of self-discovery. There's lots of cover here. Across the Rainbow Bridge. But I was getting Rambo when I'm reading it now. Across the Rainbow or Rambo Bridge. At 325, the Empress or Mother Nature and the Knight of Wands and the Coffin. The Entombment or the Dance of Jekyll and Hyde, or Jekyll and Hyde. Of hospitalization, of illness, IVs, doctors and patients, and morticians and bodies, and practical sovereigns, bridging the 9 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles here, the two sovereigns of emotions and practicality, in the journey of the King of Pentacles to the official person, 22, on the Fool's Journey, the 5D platform of the Page of Wands, who's inspired by journaling or cracking codes or cracking safes of the 10 of Pentacles family, business, community, or legacy, or their DNA or Akashic records. Aligning with sudden wealth in 777s, hitting the jackpot or the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Or I just was reading Gambling It All Away, but a gangbang was just coming up. I'm sorry to say that, but that just came out. So the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or Gambling It All Away, the 35 of the Wounded Warrior, cutting anchor. I'm sorry, you know that gangbang came up in a movie I was watching last night, so it just might be related to a movie you see. The Wounded Warrior cutting anchor, or lost at sea, as the 9 of Swords, sister or suffering in silence, or death at sea, or treasures found, exposing findings of a ship and or tomb, with lots of fire here, Leo, Aries, and Sag, and Libra as well. The 49ers and the Eagles for a big win and a big loss. It looks like the Eagles win from what I've seen so far. And this was written on the 29th at 3:30. Was that when the game started? Yeah, I wasn't watching the game. So anyway, at 3:33, number 4 is the King of Cups home. The Emperor or with Emperor, or the King of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, High Priestess home, with endings left behind. Hermiting changes with lots of new. Jumping ship, happy with car and home. The 9 of Cups and 9 of Pentacles, perhaps Scorpio and Virgo energies, amidst the Emperor and the Empress, or the Emperor home and the Empress cruising, sailing or traveling, or flights of fancy trying to end the pain with bliss state. Or the Emperor gets the house and car and the Empress boat that may be docked at the mountains, or the second house. After a second death exposed or tomb that's found, all home and vehicles, stability, hermiting, and traveling, the Emperor Hermit and the Empress, or Aries, Virgo, Taurus, set sail, or Capricorn or Taurus waving goodbye after lessons and blessings, and too much water under the bridge, and too much air above coming at them. And that can represent, air signs can be very verbal. So we have 2, 1, and 3 cards here with the 36, 12, and 2, the atlas burden of proof with wise counsel, and luck of the high priestess sharing or settling out, or wishes. With map of intent, with 2 wise old owls reaping rewards, with any luck, or Pisces wishing them the best, the empire may be exposed, or their day in the sun, with main male number 1 at peace with public life or environmental exposure, outdoor event or public judgment, with lots of flowers or support of the divine feminine and nature. The burden of the leader takes all of the responsibility with wise counsel and public imprisonment, and the Knight of Cups takes a gamble with the King of Wands at the courthouse, or McDreamy, perhaps an English lawyer, about home, peaceful nature, and the King of Swords' union with a busy job or occupied by a lot of back and forth, nature, sewing, or energetic exchange, the hours of love, travel or communication. At 351, the Empress or nature and the King of Swords, or maybe dealing with a moon child, Cancer, or a daughter who's 18. And the 27 of the Ace of Wands, unexpected income or unexpected incoming. Queen, coin, or Kohan or co-pilots, or copper exchanging hands for the Queen of Cups to nest the dream, or 2 storks expecting, Cancer and Aquarius here, Aries and Leo and Gemini, a dream gift perhaps, or gifting, or Asian influence, a gold box with red ribbon, or double diamond, or 2 stars, a wedding gift for an abundant marriage, or carriage house, or to be held at the mother's house as the gift with a giant split staircase. And Taurus and Aries, the Queen of Pentacles and Cancer, Page of Cups, the 10 of Cups family, or the dog wants to go out for a walk, whether it's the pet who's 18 or it's a child, or one wanting to be leashed by the fox who's taking off for more balance or testing their patience, or Cancer and Sagittarius here, or one longing for them and they longing for their freedom, or dog got out without their leash making their way to the Knight of Cups community, or perhaps a young boy who will take a much better care of them, and lots of love back to the family, or tree, freedom, change, and expansion by clearing out the trunk, with synchronicities, many options, or Sagittarius or pet that escaped and ran back to Taurus, Hierophant, or family, or clearinghouse. And that's interesting too, because I watched the movie after I wrote this, of Hachi, which was very much that energy. Or fox just going back first to help clear out the house as they promised. So this could be someone who's leaving a relationship, but they have to go back to help clear things out before they leave because they did promise to do so. So being responsible. So, and when I watched Hachi, Teddy he would not watch the TV. Like, he doesn't know what the TV is anyway. When you point to a phone or a computer, he looks all around the house. He has no idea what you're talking about. He cannot see screens. And the TV screen he does look at sometimes because it's big enough for him to understand what it is. But it's hard even to get him to look at that to understand what I'm talking about. But I had Hachi on, so of course I'd think that he'd want to watch it because it's all about a dog. He would not even look at me. He'd come next to me and sit next to me, but he turned his back. And he never does that. He was so mad that I was watching about the dog. So I was telling him, look how cute he is. And he didn't like that. So anyway, it was pretty funny. It was after this when I read the chapters of Ismail's book, Our Cosmic Origin. And I just opened to a page. I hope he doesn't mind, but it's 200 to 201, and this is his words, not mine. I opened to chapter 14, and it was the 4th page of chapter 14. And it was called The Inheritors and Successors of the Order of the Essene, about 900 AD to the present. And that's when I heard a bug this wasn't the ringing. I heard ringing in my right ear, but at this time at 6:02, I heard a bug in my left ear, and that's when Nat showed up, but I didn't realize it until after I saw him. But I heard him in my left ear. So the ringing was in the right ear, the gnat or the bug, somebody might be bugging in the left ear. And again, forces of light began reorganizing in secret. So he's talking, this chapter talks about the origins of the light beings that were taken out from Atlantis, right? But regrouping with the Celts, the Britons, the Franks, and the Visigoths. And again, he was confirming the priory of Zion as the original, brotherhood of keeping this, bringing the secrets forward. And then he just talks about the integration of the priory into the negative networks. So being the advisor to the Pope, finding these positions so you could infiltrate from within the negative entity. So just confirming what we've all heard already. Protecting the Order of the Grail it was talking about. Connected to all the spiritual centers of Egypt and Tibet and Agartha and the unseen 5D Shambhala. So again, confirming the priories of Zion were positive energies. The Knights Templar were positive. And the lineage from Abraham and Archangel Melchizedek. That Zion was the promised land of freedom and prophecy, which the United States would become. And he talked about, too, being the Commonwealth and the free world, that actually they were here long before America was discovered. So apparently they'd come much earlier than that and made a pact to come together, to bring the new heaven on earth in America again at whatever point that would be. And again, he talks about the Cathars, which I know firsthand. I was in the south of France with Mercedes Kirkle on her trip, which was wonderful. If she's doing it again, I would definitely recommend it. And the Cathars were all, assassinated by the church. I don't know if I have what year that was, but when we were there in the south of France, that was actually the first time the Catholic Church had apologized for the Cathars' murder. Was when I was in the south of France, which was really cool. And I resonated like it was home there for me. The energy was amazing, the butterflies. I was just connecting to everything there. I was so connected to Mary Magdalene there and Sarah. I told you about being a little girl in the church there. That's the church actually that Jesus was supposedly buried after not dying on the cross. Or maybe they brought him there and buried him there if he wasn't alive. I don't know. But even if he wasn't alive, she was still connecting with him in the etheric realms. So for her, it didn't matter. But and he just talks about the connection to Solomon, the knowledge of Solomon, and bringing that all forward to the free world, that it was all known, holding on to the secret energies or the secret information that had been destroyed in the Catholic Church or in the Roman Church, and hiding that from them so the rest of it wouldn't be destroyed, and bringing it forward to bring it back when they'd be able to gain enough power. And it came through the Despacini, direct descendants of the Grail. Later rose to power in the south of France, which I was just talking about, the Cathars in the south of France, and the Carolingian dynasty, as well as the Scotland, through the Stuart dynasty, and the unknown tribes of Israel. And then he goes through the Draco lines as well. And that the Knights Templars were the rightful inheritors of Solomon's knowledge and treasure. And again, it was all about the Renaissance and bringing back, which actually came up in my message the other day, when we came to the point of art and creativity, like when the person got bored of all the other stuff that they had to deal with, that's when they were turned within and went to art and music and science. And that was the Renaissance period, which he makes very specifically important here in the book. That if this hadn't happened, if they hadn't gotten to this point of bringing up the Renaissance and that creative side of humans, that we wouldn't have arrived at this point now. So he talks about the White Brotherhood and actually the planet used to be landmarked by a star called La America. And that was 1200 AD he talked about. And here's where he brings together the Sufis and the Jews. As I was bringing together the Sikhs and the Jews. So again, combining different perspectives and both education and spirituality to bridge all the different cultures and religions. So the attempt at this original Commonwealth, like we are now in the United States, was the Cathars, which then got assassinated and then rebuilt up again, and just talks about the history of that and the original Israelites, and that they did become the Freemasons. And of course, they were infiltrating negative groups. So there was always going to be talk about a group becoming negative or is negative because they were always infiltrating negative groups. So there's that. Okay. So now we have the next read. What is this, number 4? I think this is number 4. So here's number 4. Okay, I'm going to bring it up real close. Okay, so the top is, that is the Tarot of Dreams. The second is Nature's Whispers. The third is the Energy deck. And then the Wild Unknown Animal Tarot. I love that because it gives it totally different energy. And then again, the half deck of the Rider-Waite with just the characters. And then the bottom is my combo deck of the Lenormand and Kipper, but I did pull a couple cards. These 3 here are just a different Rider-Waite deck that I just wanted to clarify. But again, the same way of pulling with the piles I counted at the end and the underlying energies on the left. And for this read, if you pick number 4, it was pulled on the 29th, yesterday, from 7:04 p.m. to 7:08 p.m., those decks. And the number of the piles at the end came up as 412333, but of course that didn't bring up anything in Gematria. So I looked up 4123, which is also the Emperor and the Hanging Man, and then 333, which is 369 energies as well. As the Emperor leaps, the Ace of Cups and the King of Wands, Christ standing up. The Ace of Cups, or new love, spiritual love, self-love of the High Priestess, standing up to the Christ vibration, standing up to the Empress with the Christ vibration there in the middle. I looked up 412, because that's the only one that came up with something. And the first entry was Aurora. The 5th was Saint Germain. The 6th was Atam-Ra. And 7 was Education, but the others weren't very interesting. And you can always look up these numbers on your own in Gematria. The underlying energy is 721 of the Palace of Coins, which was a wonderful place to start. That's heaven on earth. So the Palace of Coins is like the 10 of Pentacles, only even grander because there is a 10 of Pentacles in the deck. The 14 of Assurance, the 40 of the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron, and the Snake. The King of Pentacles, which is 65, and the 22 of the Official Person. So heaven on earth, patience for 4 generations, that assurance that all seasons will come and go, the Page of Cups innocence of the 6th chakra and the 3rd eye of Metatron's magnetic service, awakening the collective with the King of Pentacles official person on the Fool's journey, perhaps an official emissary, with the Ace of Coins, the Atlas, or the first Kohan with new release, opening the gates to let those in exile back in, or health recovery and emotional plans as well, getting over loss or regret, with Gemini, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo, or the fixed signs, they're all fixed, ending conflict, competition, or group dynamics in a bold move of the Chariot, fighting their way out of the Colosseum after fighting the lions, tigers, and bears, and eagles, to fully recover and make strides, Kai, going the distance, being the Fool, willingly, with an open heart, in invisibility, balancing act, home on the road, on the range, or there's no place or palace of coins, or place like home, with owl, deer, little critters, and mushrooms in the garden, Atlas with map of intent, and at 7:34, the key and the 34 of energetic exchange of the 8 of Wands. The first card here is the 2 of Swords with peace of mind, and at least 2 perspectives, between home and the workplace, or weightlifting Atlas working towards the Palace of Wands, or the Happiness Hotel, like Christmas on steroids. With 4 cards at the end, the Star reversed, depressed, detoxing, or Aquarius and Capricorn both reversed, caged bird refusing to walk out of their own prison, or being offered love from home or union? Or is that the gates of hell, or having sold their soul to the devil? So again, that brings up the quote that, again, Elena Danaan always brings up about that Thor Han always quoted, or his brother, I can't remember who said it, but that you can't make a prisoner, let go of their chains. They have to be willing to let go of their own chains. So at 741 is the Chariot and the Ace of Cups, the underlying energy of the 3 of the Empress of Mother Nature of abundance and celebrating differences. The illumination of 2, the 12 of expansion, 24 to be your best self always, 15 to catch your breath, and 14 of assurance. So the unicorn and the dolphin come together here. The butterflies and the humans visit the dark side of the moon together. The Empress and the High Priestess with illumination, perhaps sisters, mother and child, or father and children, meeting a new prospect, or hanging out to handfast and expand ranges and rainbows with dear one and child, or his inner child in tow. With the 24 Queen of Wands wild child being called to be her best self always, the Andromeda mermaid and Pegasus seahorse as she rides them, being called on to be her best self always, because if she's going to ride that seahorse, she needs to be kind. When facing the devil, the shadow or ungroundedness, catch your breath and hug a tree, or family for assurance that they are still here with thee. All cultures of feminine wisdom are stored in that tree. How patient and angelic that tree must be. At 749, the Chariot and the 9 of Cups. Of the 22 and the Fool and that leap of faith, on the etheric tightrope with a net below, the magic wand in hand. The 27 of the Ace of Wands, maintaining that childlike spirit, and the 48 of hope and happiness, and walking away and within, in the ocean breeze. Wild child, free and easy. Easy breezy, undercover girl. As the first card is 30, the adventure of bridging 2 lands, with the hermit between in shell suspended with the same origins as them. Being watched over so you can sleep soundly, away from those devil's gates of the fiery realm. At 755, the underlying energy of 36 and the second chakra, Ariel, with a map of intent of door to romance, and the 33 of the Christ vibration carrying the weight of the Christ consciousness to light up, the key to the heart, the ascension community with dark mother's envy or mother's judgment in a wake-up call, perhaps triggering you to wake up. Or is the envy within the spiritual community directed by the dark infiltration and the attack on the Queen of Swords, the goddess of the moon, and undercover Hercules with the Page of Cups Metatron? With Cancer and Aquarius, perhaps Pisces here, as Christ descends into the chariot, the 7th chakra, there are those envious wanting to block him from getting to the 6th chakra and Metatron, trying to vampire her harvest of 2 to 6 before they meet in the pineal gland. At 8:03, the dance of abundance in the Empress, or Mother Nature. Don't fool with Mother Nature. The first card here is the 34 of opening the window to personal healing and happiness, bringing the outside in. The 42 and 17 of the 2 of Cups and the Stars, the woman holding a coin and the dark horse catching up to merge as stars and take action. Or is that woman, the envious one, trying to merge with the 2-horse chariot, or placing her bet at the track? Or this is just Metatron enticing this greedy woman away from the 2 she's trying to manipulate. Or 2 cards here of the 27 to walk away and within, to the 5 of freedom from wearing a mask in an attachment card energy. Or 1 white horse, or 1 walks away as the black horse is attached and now promises them as they run after them gifts and or anything, whatever they want to get them to stay, trying to entice them once again. The lamb in a target here, or target practice at least. Perhaps Atlas workplace with new passion for woman with money, to partner with the devil for freedom, or working to save for a child, but the mother with status that she is accustomed to, or gambling or spending issues here. So again, this could be trying to save for the child, but the mother keeps spending the money because you could be divorcing or whatever, and then she's pissed off, and that could be vice versa too, where the man's spending all the money. So we have 816 of the Dance of the Tower, and the underlying energy of the tiger approaching the crocodile. Crouching tiger, hidden dragon, undercover croc, with butterfly transforming along with the collective crowning in a secret event or meeting, or whispering wound, heard it through the grapevine, a golden egg, a nest egg, at the heart of the collective seal, the womb, keeping the egg safe. At 828, the dance of the twin flames, and the owl and the black egg of wisdom and truth, the lamb being the target, with 3 cards here of the peacock, the fox, and the unicorn. As the beauties watch, as this all goes down, at 8:30 of the dance of the union and the underlying energy of the twin flames, or the sister, or the suffering in silence and not sleeping well, the Page of Pentacles getting something examined, investigated, or assessed, with the Page of Cups and 9 of Pentacles, or invite to hermit with loving response. The sovereign seeking justice with the King of Pentacles, or child custody court or mediation, and children with counselor, with Virgo and Libra here, or child or children who sends invites for 2 avults. 2 avults? So avults, I was getting, that can be volts as in electric, a vault as in a safe, but also it's getting vaulting like in gymnastics. So that could, all 3 of those could be coming up here. So Virgo and Libra here, or child or children sends invites for 2 adults to come together, and that could be a graduation or a performance. And that can be their parents or 2 other people that they want to get back together. And they're sending the invitations to each one, like that old story, where they think they're getting an invitation from the other, but it's actually the children doing the inviting. So at 8:38 is the dance of the Queen of Cups, where the first card is the King of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, overseeing the collective awakening, Metatron's official emissary. As the Queen of Pentacles, wise owl, wishes the divine feminine luck, or 4-leaf clover, and the workplace with mother or older woman, with truth of the wounded warrior, or their surrender to the twin flame love. In like the 6 of Wands, stallions, or stall lions, like in like a lion, out like a lamb, with a price on their head. Dark night walking over anyone who gets in their way. The priest, the children, the old man, whatever it takes, all of those people who have stood in their way. No more Mr. Nice Guy. The Grim Reaper is here, being their authentic self. Perhaps they're grim, but they also reap very well. Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays those couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. At 8:48, the dance of going within, walking away within, the Knight of Swords speaks or delivers on behalf of the Empress and the Queen of Cups. The pretty peacock, foxy mama, and unicorn, as the Queen of Swords speaks to arrogant devil pleasing himself, or lawyer, and swearing in or swearing them in for testimony. With the Emperor, High Priestess, and Knight of Cups, the other team with the King of Swords, or 3 ladies coming for dark night, including the Empress's lawyer, and the Queen of Cups perhaps may be support for Capricorn, as Capricorn is sworn in against the Emperor's court, with the High Priestess Secret Keeper and the Knight of Cups here to offer lover support, and the King of Swords. Or the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords are the opposing forces, and the Queen of Swords' mother and sister are there, and the King of Swords' father and brother and or sister are there. With 8:58, the dance of the 4 of Swords and the rest, or the break, the 5D Connect, and the 15 of the Shadow Lovers. After the King of Cups and the King of Wands, with the old man with concerns between. The King of Cups with timelines, and the King of Wands standing up to others and their messes, exposing lovers and the wealthy man in transition, or Gemini and Scorpio, Page of Wands inspired to great fortune on this journey of romance, or wooing the moon or the stone, or somebody could be the romance could be romancing ants, or Rome ants, maybe someone's aunt is in Rome, but the journey of romancing or wooing the moon or stone. At 9:03, of gently applying pressure until they get all the juice out. Perhaps a Golden Globe winner? I have no idea when the Golden Globes are, but that was coming up. Or Gemini, or lovers dealing with Scorpio and or Cancer. And the first card out here is 9 of Cups in the Magic Adventure, or the 9 of Cups to the 8 of the 9 of Pentacles, Delivery to Dance, or Gemini or Virgo to Leo, or Life and Death Urgency of the 22 official person, or Gemini, Leo, and Aries in bed together, as the messenger, doctor, or doctor-patient relationship, and official with a platform or station or body being brought home, and that could be a military death that's being brought home to their original country, perhaps making something official. So at 9:12, which is the Hermit and the Hanging Man, or hermiting and hanging out, the first cards of the 2 and the 28 of the Divine Feminine Higher Self and the Twin Flame Love, or the Angry Man from Mars choosing a path, or waiting until the North Node hits Aries on July 18th, or the 17th at least, to nest the dream with the Queen of Cups. With 7 cards at the end here, with 17 and the Golden Egg, with the Queen of Cups and things looking up, with deliverance, but I was getting Delaware right here. So somebody might be dealing with Delaware. So things looking up with deliverance or Delaware. Dark night dreams come true with a dream gift for a marriage, the Empress from Rad and Staff, or Taurus and Libra, and the Page of Pentacles invite or opportunity for the Empress blissful abundant travel or cruise, or Taurus Aquarius gift to travel or about, or Aquarius covering for couple so that they can travel for their honeymoon or their dream home. The Hermit Queen of Swords with flowers or gifts, as wise pair reap rewards of toxic Queen of Wands is bite. A betrayal here, both superficial and malicious, or a bitchy friend or partner with duplicitous behavior. Two-faced person could be a problem. Cancer or fire energy, or toxic flowers that are sent. So be careful about flowers. Maybe someone laced them with something. And that came up with Teddy, because he does these weird things sometimes, and he gets stuff from the backyard sometimes he probably shouldn't be chewing on. And I know this because when I was growing up, we had an Aussie, and he started getting seizures from chewing on rubber soles of shoes. So you really got to be careful with what toys they play with. And he was doing something a couple times where he obviously got something toxic because he started shaking his head violently, but he kept doing it. And he just sniffed the towel yesterday that had one of her paint stains on it in the bathroom. And he started doing that. So I wiped his nose and he stopped. So in case anyone's dealing with something like that, just be careful what they chew on, and sometimes maybe they just need their nose wiped to get the smell out of their nose because they can't do that themselves. And again, here's that energy of someone could send toxic flowers or just lace something with something that's toxic like that. With Aquarius, Taurus, Libra, Virgo, Pisces, Cancer here, or Scorpio, Queen of Cups, fire with Aquarius and a little lamb. And again, there's this energy of a celebration of marriage. And Aquarius looks like an angry man, or Sagittarius masculine who's angry with the Queen of Pentacles. Scorpio, Aquarius, and the Snake, and the King of Pentacles, official person coming up here. And that's when Jenna texted me that the Eagles had won. That was at 9:31. So then that's when I clarified who is the number 28 man, because he comes up as angry. The Hermit with light on the King of Cups. So the Hermit's shedding light on the King of Cups. Who is the King of Cups cheating? I don't know. That's a possibility for someone, I suppose. But we have the Empress reversed in a heated exchange at home with the High Priestess, or a delay in getting home, as the King of Swords in a breakup or battle or never-ending story here. And again, Aquarius reversed, and they're writing here. This is energy of, someone being very judgmental, and Aquarius reversed energy, and then also Libra with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, trying to end the nightmare with justice and or divorce coming up there. So now we get to the 5th read, and then we'll get to the one on the table. And I ran out of water, so I'm kind of parched here, but I'll be okay. So here's the final message of the day, number 5, for those of you who picked number 5. And we have that Tarot of Dreams up top, and then the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook there. We have the half deck of Rider-Waite as the bright yellow one. And then the bottom again is the mixed deck of Lenormand and the Kipper deck. Just so you can see the cards better, same thing. The underlying energy is on the left, piles I count on the right, and 3 cards out for each deck. And then sometimes there's some extra ones like the pyramid I just did down there. All right, so before this one, again, I did some scribing to see if any messages came up again. And here are the messages. So this is from today. So one of the questions I asked when I was doing some scribing is, what is the biggest wound and what is the entry wound? And this was very, very profound. The message came up, my Lyran sun sound, or the water spiraling, was a major wound. My Lyran sun sound, again, the energy of missing home, of having to leave home, or the water spiraling. I was also getting my wound. I know I'd seen this before in past life stuff, where the Mary Magdalene cave that I visited in the south of France, I was pushed off of there or thrown off of there. So there was two messages I got there. When I was in the cave, I literally experienced being burned at the stake right there. But I also was thrown off that cliff as an infant. So there's 2 major life energies where I got thrown off the cliff there. And that came up here. But also, there was some sweet messages of the twins coming up, of Mary Magdalene and the King of Wands tie the knot to join in holy wine, and then Mary Magdalene to arrive and leave without laying down in charged connection of Mary Magdalene and Jesus, right? So not letting someone take advantage of them. So that's the other big wound, obviously. And then Sophia rose to follow Mount Zion also came up. All right. So even before this, before I woke up this morning, I was asking my inner child what she wanted to do today. And some of the messages that came up were pretty significant. And I was asking what my inner child wanted to do today, because she hasn't been showing herself to me. And there was a point where my inner child said she didn't need to come back anymore. But I still wanted to go in to see if I could get her to come out, to tell me things. And I'm still not seeing her, but I was getting messages. I was getting a name, Giro, but it was coming up as G-A-I-R, like air, and then O, which is also like Giro, G-E-R-O, and I was remembering it through gyros and air. And then Meta came up, and I was getting energies of my soul name, but the messages were coming through for a reason. The solar plexus was very significant here. I was literally seeing the hourglass, or the middle of the toroidal field, the core of the apple, was coming through as the stem of the Holy Grail through the solar plexus. That is the intersection of the vertical and horizontal pillars, where it's cut in half. The hourglass is cut in half both ways, right? So if it's cut in half from the vertical pillar, it's obviously the masculine and feminine sides, but it's also cutting it in half to the upper and lower body, right? The upper chakra system and the lower chakra system, right? So below the ribs, because you know the whatchamacallit muscles are the only thing that tie the upper body to the lower body, from the ribs to the spine to the inner thighs, the psoas muscles, and the other muscles not called psoas, but I can't remember. But anyway, so we have the horizontal and vertical torus, and remember I showed you a picture of, if you put 2 apple pictures together, as in the toroidal field, but from the side, the apple view, as opposed to the donut view from the top, it came up as a picture of 2 Easter eggs opening, and I don't know if you remember that, but I've shown it a couple times. But it also shows the empty spaces is the Celtic cross, which is coming up as the 2 hourglasses crossing. That is the Celtic cross. And so Celtic came up with something else as well. And also a symbol of like a rounded M came up, as well as a C. So there's the CM and MC also coming up again, the co-creation of the Christ consciousness and the Mary Magdalene and the Christ energies. But the lungs were coming up as very significantly here because they're protected by the rib cage. The energy of being stuck in your ribs, if you felt any of that, they're calling you to focus on your lungs and breathe in very deeply. I was guided in the morning when I'm in bed. I love doing the meditation then, because they guide me to all sorts of stretches to do, where I can then push on the wall above my bed and stuff like that to do some arching and all sorts of weird stretches. I just go with it, and it's very cool releases that come up. So some arm and shoulder stretching, all this stuff around the lungs, and the solar plexus was coming up. I was putting up my right elbow and with my hand in the middle of my back, and then pushing down on that elbow to do some stretching there. And Gairo, G-A-I-R-O, is a Japanese word for street, road, or avenue, and G-E-R-O is future, or to be, the future tense. Also in Japanese means vomit, so that's a purge as well. It means I carry, bear, manage, have, wear, perform, exhibit, behave. Lust, desire also comes up there, as well as to generate, and January, which we're in right now. But G-E-R-O means to generate, but so does Celt, C-E-L-T. So that was very significant, that word generate. And then meta came up, M-E-T-A, which means self-referential, structured by relationship, but at a higher level, boundary marker, finish line, or goal, an estimate, value, esteem, consider, to measure, frontier, base, ambition, appreciation, assess, destination, all of those things, as well as methamphetamine, mad, drunken, and haystack, dung, medaldehyde, eye, like the eye of the storm, the cone, the pyramid, the turning point, which is the shift, the end, the limit, to measure, to angle for fish, which references Jesus again, mint, as in the plant, target, and then mesti, which means to throw, drop, give up, or the fist that's clenched, that clenched hand. So the message here is very significant. And snow was significant. The clenched hand came up in the movie last night where the girl had been gang raped, because she keeps having flashbacks of her fisted hand with blood. So it comes up as the Gairo, Gero, Meta message, the path of the future to generate, the high level January of self-reflection in relationship, consideration, appreciation, the frontier and haystack, of the cone, the cyclone, the pyramid, the eye of the storm, and the turning point or shift to make a fist and mint, the Celtic crossroads. The Celtic crossroads of the inner child, the unseen ghosted word, the tool to lift, elevate, reveal, improve, and dignify, to improve someone's reputation, the avenue to be, to carry, and to generate, the cone, turning point, or the shift, the clenched fist, and giving something up that no longer serves you, to grin and bear it. And a line from one of my songs, kiss the floor and bear the pain, a difficult poop. You know it's going to hurt, but you know it must come out, so you hold your breath and just push, or jump, or birth. No longer tolerating shit. Being done with it. So very significant, and you should have an easy time remembering that quote. And that was my channeling, okay? So again, you know it's going to hurt. So just like a difficult poop, you know it's going to hurt, but you know it must come out. So you hold your breath and just push, or jump, or birth. No longer tolerating any shit. Being done with it. So I love that. So then lens came up again. So perhaps the name Len comes up, but also lens zoom, or lens room, which is a developing room, or a generator room perhaps. Loops were coming up as well. That could be electric loops or generators. The energy of being overexcited. The Re-Indians were coming up, as well as, again, here's that this rough picture I was drawing of the Celtic cross coming together as in the body, right? So without the sword there, initially it was just the Celtic cross, and you see the division in the body, but you see the apple loops here. So when the sword is upright, you have the sword handle down here as the feminine, right? The sword and the stone. And then the same happens this way because it's just two toroidal fields overlapping each other. And again, here is the energy of the rib cage, of the energy above and below, and then side by side of the masculine and the feminine. And again, the reference of the sword and the stone, and also the supernova energies of the stars coming together that make that same diagram. But it also comes up looking like a lollipop ring, right? The diamond ring that you get from a bubblegum machine, you put it on your ring and then you can suck on the top, the diamond. So it's bringing up that same shape. So the engagement ring also comes up. So the Re tribe, and that's come up for me a lot. The word Re comes up a lot. And that's the tribe of the Arikari. It can be spelled A-R-A, but they go by the Arikari or Hundi. So that can be mistaken for the Hindu because it's the same letters but just reversed. It's H-U-N-D-I. So there may be a reference there to the Hindi or the Hindu. They are very much an agricultural tribe. They were not aggressive. They're a North Dakota tribe, but they were bullied by the Sioux, and they were involved in the First Plains Indian War in 1823. There's that 23 of the King of Wands this year again. The trading company that killed their chief's son, so then they attacked, trapping the expedition of the Rocky Mountain Fur Company, traveling along the Missouri River, June 2nd, 1823, where about 12 traders died. So the Army sent in 230 soldiers, 750 Sioux, and 50 trappers under Colonel Henry Leavenworth. And it's funny because Henry is Henry. After the attack, August 9th, which happens to be my parents' anniversary, 1823, 50 Ree were dead. August 15th, the village were burned, and they built an American post as a message to other unfriendly Indians, including the Crow and Blackfoot. The U.S. and Britain at that time were still competing for the Missouri River. 1830s, smallpox almost destroyed the Ree tribe, and by 1870s, the Sioux had forced them from their land, and that's when they went to North Dakota, and they were still part of the three affiliated tribes of the Hidatsa and the Mandan tribes. So to North Dakota, Fort Clark Trading Post or at the Knife River. 1872 joined those two other tribes at Like a Fishhook Village near Fort Berthold Trading Post. Ironically, for protection and jobs, the Rees began to scout for the U.S. Army stationed nearby Fort Stevenson. 1874 guide George Custer on his Black Hills expedition fought with the soldiers. So the Indians fought with the soldiers at that time in the 7th Cavalry with Custer against the Lakota Sioux and the North Cheyenne, and were the first scouts to lead the men out when the village was attacked. But many Indians were sent back to the camp by the soldiers. 3 of the Indians died, as well as 260 soldiers, and yet the Indians received blame for losing the Battle of Little Bighorn because they were used as scapegoats. So again, that's the Ree Indians, or the Arikari. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. So then LMN also came up, and lemon was coming up for me, as well as it means let me know, library managed network. And again, this was coming up in my scribing again with groom. So LMN or LNN or LN2 also came up as a word that could be used, which means liquid nitrogen. And LNN is that natural logarithm to the base of E as opposed to the base of 2, which came up yesterday or the day before. But also line and lane can come up there as well. So it's coming up as the explosive, bitter, quote unquote, let me know, natural logarithm to the base E, groom. So here is number 5. This was from 1250 to 1253. The Hanging Man and the 10 of Cups. The 51, 52, and 53 are the King, Queen, and Knights of Swords. And the piles at the end were 3, 3, 4, and 3. I didn't pull anything from Gematria for this one today. But that was the number 3343. At 1256, the underlying energies were the 4 of Cups reversed, the Crocodile, which the 4 of Cups is 44, the King of Wands, which is 23, and then 29, the Ace of Swords and the Lady with the Rose. So the thinking man, no longer thinking, when the full moon was in Cancer perhaps, starting over or decided to start over in Cancer, while Crocodile is laying in wait, as the King of Wands is keeping their position over the Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands, not letting them have the satisfaction of taking off with his wand a 29 present, or being present with the truth of the loving lady with one final rose. So it looks like there's two women and then the man in the middle. So, and the one Queen of Wands could be with the Knight of Wands, or that could be her energy as well. And the other one is more of the loving lady, like a Queen of Cups energy with the rose, because the Queen of Wands was definitely reversed. So the Crocodile tells us to wait, to be reserved or observe and build energy stores, so that the next move comes from a place of wisdom and power. When wise and patient, a silent powerhouse. When they're stuck, they lash out like a crocodile would, but needing to rest, and perhaps the Makarasana pose, and you can look that up, Makarasana, which has to do with lying on your belly and pushing up, and then also going up on your toes while being on your head with your hands around your head, but you can look that up online. So starting over, but waiting for the truth to come out first. And again, this could be that energy of someone waiting till July 18th until the North Node goes into Aries. Maybe that will benefit them more. So at 108, the underlying energy, which is the 1 of the mouse and the 8 of the dance of manifesting dreams, and the Queen of Wands reversed here. So after the 10 of Cups reversed, defenseless to the world, perhaps it's a family who's unhappy, is defenseless to the world, or someone finishing an emotional cycle, feeling defenseless to the world, a cycle complete. Pisces or divine feminine, both upright and reversed Pisces energies, with a secret passion to start over without thinking about things anymore. So perhaps wanting to change a pattern and just leap in instead of thinking over it so much. So the underlying energy of the Queen of Wands reversed, perhaps with Cancer in their chart, and out of control, losing her cool, or exhausted and just can't work anymore, or injured, confessing bad habits, or dropping responsibilities in order to party, drink, gossip, or be antisocial, distancing, or third party with no joy, or receiving or recovering from the Super Bowl, and obviously all the partying that people are doing. So 3 cards came up here with the Magician with clarity, new information, decision, causing the inability to sleep, or just awakening and coming out about it. Gemini or Virgo with all tools on board as the Magician, and clearly awake and coming out. The Queen of Wands, who's reversed, and the Knight of Wands could be partying kids, or a partner with a third party, or drunken friends. And the underlying energy at 117 of the masculine or the Magician, and the 17 of dreams or healing. The underlying energy of the Scorpion, the Lamb, the Peacock, Star, Oyster, Stingray, Wolf, and Croc. The Scorpion scared, shocked, or jumped the Lamb, or triggered their energy into target practice for the Peacock, Star, trying to get them to come out of their shell. The Stingray's plugged into the Wolf, that could be a dog as well, who is shocked or stunned or stun-gunned as the crocodile cuts off their nose to spite their face, or in other words, does themselves in without them or the lamb doing a thing. So at 121, the masculine in the world, and the first energy here is the bat lost in space or spaced out, or the fly ball where the bat went with the ball, and the Queen of Wands went off planet. Damn it, Janet. And the butterfly is just learning to use their wings. So the mouse becomes the bat, and the busy bee becomes the butterfly, and the elk with a hangover, or their head's on fire, needs to eat right, or is a redhead, or very proud of their hair or hats, or a grumpy old man. 3 cards, the bunny, the otter, and the turtle then, scared, curious, and slow to catch on, or to keep up with them, in the dark, or with bad vision. Or 3 blind mice, see how they run, anxiety, distraction, and disconnection. At 126, the leap to the Page of Wands. The underlying energy of the King of Pentacles and King of Cups getting on the Emperor's nerves, who's getting on the 9 of Pentacles Sovereign's nerves, or non-independent kid's nerves, where the Sovereign is then unaffected, with the Empress and the King of Swords partnership, and the Page of Swords and the King of Wands, or once they hear back from the King of Wands, because there's 2 kings here with the Emperor, and 2 kings with the Empress. Perhaps the Empress has supported their kids as well, or a sister or a friend. Or the King of Wands gets warned or waved. The King of Wands gets word that the Emperor still hasn't gotten back to them. And again, that could be lawyers going back and forth as well. At 131 is the Hermit shedding light or mediates here on a house, assets, or the Emperor, King of Cups, which can be the same person or two different people, right? The Emperor could be the son as well as a father. And again, somebody could be living with their father right now as well. Or it could be the same person. The Chariot takes the show on the road, or in a bold move to expose a group, or charged up for a battle. The Two of Wands choosing a path or giving an ultimatum or receiving one. For Virgo and Cancer, or advisor and warrior here, or icy or snowy ascension path to Mecca, or getting chains put on the car, or all-weather tires perhaps. At 135, the Wounded Warrior, or stopped at a police post scanning for drunk drivers, as now the Eagles versus the Chiefs in Phoenix came up, and 11 cards. The Queen of Cups lover, showing affection while Gemini, Knight of Swords, attacks from the back, or from the backyard, or from around the neighborhood, or delivery cones, or in a delivery that comes in really fast, that the Queen of Cups loves. The High Priestess Justice extends an invite. Pisces or Virgo and Libra with an opportunity, or the Page of Pentacles child, or a student, or a job for a best friend. A soul tie, Page of Wands who's excited and set free by this invite or opportunity or job or assessment of value, as the Queen of Swords then goes forward with what she has to say. The Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles may both be set free by her truth. And at 143, where they're coming together, the underlying energy is the Knight of Cups, who takes a gamble. The 23, the King of Wands at the courthouse, or McDreamy, perhaps a British lawyer, or plays one anyway on TV. The 10 of the journey of the conductor, packed at the train station, or stationed at the courthouse, in high vibe destined journey of child, or little girl, or moonchild, or one who's 18 years old, or just needing to make it until October 18th, or somebody's 18th birthday. At 41, with well wishes, self-love, and deep diving to bring up the dirty water, with loving woman with gifts and truth present, or counseling part of a court settlement. At 150, again the masculine or magician and the 10 of Cups family, the stable home, or the Emperor and the King of Cups court, being looked at very closely here or scrutinized, exposing all group activities and or the Ace of Pentacles offers of road trips and or vacations and cars, etc. that aren't being shown. The 37 of the King of Cups and the 33 with concerns of martyrdom. And then 7 cards came up, where the first two were 21 and 28, which is the World and the Two of Wands, where the buck is at the mountain, an energetic exchange, or she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, with Lady 28 with expectations of completion or achievement of some kind. The 26th of the Page of Wands inspired to crack codes of the 10 of Pentacles family, business, or community, or cracking the books, and Justice of 11 of hitting the jackpot, triple sevens, and nesting the dream with the Queen of Cups with gift from a marriage, or Taurus Aquarius marriage gets Libra off the hook, or Pisces or Divine Feminine, fire sign Libra and Aquarius times 2 and Taurus here, perhaps a blessed marriage, or gifted with a home, or inherited a home from a marriage and or inheritance or a divorce. So at 202 here is the Queen of Wands reversed, perhaps the bat out of hell, or leaves the planet as the Hermit is home with the Emperor and or King of Cups. I mean, that could be someone who's leaving, like who's going to pass away, but maybe it happens quickly, or maybe you know it's going to happen already. But Atlas reversed, done their hard work as the butterfly transforms, testing their new wings by getting or giving I don't know if they're giving up. They're going on the road. So this could be, kids who are just trying out their wings. They haven't been out in the car before. They haven't gone on a road trip before by themselves. This energy of testing their new wings and getting or giving by going on the road or a vacation with friends or a group trip, social distancing, or just no joy in no coming together, as the elk has a chance or a choice to make about what they truly desire, with the 37 King of Cups with concerns of martyrdom. Okay, so they could be two separate people right there, because the elk comes up more as like the hothead King of Wands. So we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands who's reversed, we know that, and the Page of Wands who's set free, that could be an Aries, and the Emperor and the Empress in the underlying energies here, with the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups and the Six of Cups kids here too, which can just be a different side of those people, and the Queen of Swords ultimately at the end. So there's your message from today. So now we go back to the Seven of Cups read on the table. And this was from before all of that. All right. So this is the underlying energies, the main deck of this read on the table for the twin flames. Okay. And then the full 7-deck read I have for you as well. I thought I did. Where is it? I know I took that picture. That's so weird. Well, I'm not seeing it. Did I take it before? Nope. Sorry, I don't have it. That's all right. Let's see if I took it with my other camera. All right, so last one, you guys. Now, this is not part of the 1 of 5. This is the twin flame read. Yeah, no, I don't have it, but you see it on the table, and I do give you all the main cards. So we have the underlying, this was cut and dealt at 9/18. This was on the 26th, actually. And the Akashic records came up at 9/11 prior to that. And I actually woke up between 9:09 to 9:15 this morning. So 9:09, 9:11, 9:14, they're all significant numbers for me that came up between that time. And Akash also means the sky and the cosmos. It's referenced as a quantum vacuum, the 0 point. And Kash alone is moon, cabinet, closet, or cupboard energy as well. So it was cut and dealt at 9/18, which happens to be my birthday. So it may reference you as the divine feminine. And then we have, we finished the clarifiers at 9:47, which is the Hermit and the 47 of the 7 of Cups. Synchronicities, heaven in their eyes. It's 5:55 right now. And 2:52 on the clock here. So about 2:51, I guess we started with this one. And also, of course, the 7 of Cups is having lots of choices and options, can be confusing at times, can be illusions at times. It depends on your perspective. So the major arcana here is Indigo, Star, and Luna in the read, where Indigo is the Magician, Luna is the Moon, of course, and before the read was the Chariot, the Tower, and Karma, which is Judgment in this deck, the SIRIAN Starseed, and after the read is Guidance and Strength. Guidance is the Hierophant, and then Strength, of course, is Strength. There were 3 cups, 2 pentacles, 1 sword, 2 wands, which is 32 and 12, which is the Journey and the Hanging Man. Page of Cups and the King of Wands were in the read. Queen of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles Sovereign were before the read, and after the read was the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. We had double 2s and double 10s. Double 2s is the Fool and the Fool's Journey. The double 10s is that high vibration. We also had 1, 2, 3 jump. The 5 of Freedom, Change, and Expansion, the Hierophant, as well as the 8 of the Strength card and the Dance of Manifestation of Dreams, as well as 23 of the King of Wands, 12 of the Hanging Man, 35 of the Wounded Warrior, 9 of Wands, 58 of the 4 of Swords, 89 is the Phi energy of expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting instead, and then 9, 10 begin again. The code line was all about health and communication, and the number 27, which came from 10, 15, and 2. And these were the messages from that. Christ, high vibe, destined support or pole, and the acing of the Five of Cups of grief and regret, or purging perhaps, and taking the high road, the twin flames, I am presence. The Christ 10 mast or 10 poled ship, and acing, or the one purging the ether, the plasma ethers, and perhaps for cars or for good. And one ox, or hugs and kisses, to dissolve the polarity, to sail away with the twin flames, I am presence. The emotional attachment here, at the right angle to the nth degree of the unication. Remember, cation is the positively charged ion. And then the H, communication, which is the one-to-one communication, which communication can also come up as the calm unication. Also the Christ, or the North, tenfold ace, like Snoopy in his plane as the ace, but this is the fish instead. Sad having to take the high road of two twin flames of the I am, earth but no earth, in the elf unication. So instead of earth, the R is being traded out with the L. So the earth but no earth. Earth not being equal to earth, or in other words, the elf in unication. The one to cat connection, the one-to-one calm, the noble to the nth degree, the fishnet, the iron cage, to copy or imitate the movie or film, learning, or perhaps experiencing in a lifetime or age. A noisy person, the village weaver, the estate, the enclosed area, the yoke, any, each, and every. The snake feeding the cell in which to purge, grieving to the nth degree, the twin rays and their choice of path of the I am. The one-to-one noble, or nobility to the nth degree, in calm, unique tion of the TION, the tiger lioness connection. The kundalini cage of the net to imitate movies, to study and learn the high road of the twin flames and their I am presence. So we start out here with the Page of Cups reversed, which is the top card here with the mini cards on top. And below that Page of Cups reversed is the Queen of Cups reversed with the Chariot upright, the Tower upright, with the Ten of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and they're upright, and then Karma reversed on top, which is the Judgment card. So the Queen of Cups reversed with the Chariot and the Tower, where the Queen of Cups in a bold sudden move to end the pain, with the Queen of Swords upright needing to heed the call or swallow their pride, and ending karma with the Page of Cups reversed, or feeling rejected, or a spoiled child, receiving new passion, creativity, or growth from the Queen of Pentacles reversed, trying to end the conflicts or a never-ending battle here, perhaps with a child. And the Ten of Pentacles family, an abundant family, business or community, with the King of Pentacles reversed, giving an ultimatum, but it looks like being given an ultimatum by the Queen of Pentacles, who's also reversed and over it, or grown kids in disconnect from the Ten of Pentacles family, business or community, feeling rejected. Or after kids diss parents, parents teach them a lesson, which is so funny because this came up in a show as well, where the kids were leaving the nest and, never calling or not being respectful. And so the parents played a joke. I forget what it was called, but it's a show on Netflix. And so the parents decided to teach them a lesson by telling them that they inherited like 6 million euros or something from an aunt. And so all of a sudden the kids want to be a part of their life. It was very interesting. So the Ten of Cups family is offering big love suddenly or out of the blue without calling in a deception, post-war, getting a taste of their own medicine, or the little boy letting go of parents no longer up in arms, needing to swallow pride about deception to end the conflict. And remembering part of the lesson of that show is that, once you get yourself, even though you're doing this to teach them a lesson, now they've told them what they said. So now the kids are telling everybody else that their parents are millionaires. So now there's this big lie out to the whole community. It's not just about them and their children. So we have the 10 and the 59, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 5 of Swords, of the Page of Wands, healing but impatient and uncomfortable, perhaps belly up or the underbelly exposed, where no one's at the helm, losing patience or fallen angel, uncomfortable with their emotions, or the Page of Wands excited by their misfortune and or discomfort, or they're excited by somebody else's discomfort and making them squirm. With reconciliation below that was let go of control issues, and in the downturn or negative news or karmic retribution without a leg to stand on, trying to close the distance gap or all business relationship that's not working out, needing to heal, apologize, and or forgive, tossing out the flowers or no more matching soles, feet, and knees, elbows, and ankles, etc. With synchronicities, number 87, and patience below that, number 2 of the Divine Feminine. And 87 is a reflection of synchronicities of the 78 of that 10 of Pentacles family, where the Emperor and the Empress are both in the underlying energies here, and they were in one of the other reads as well, with the King of Cups reversed between them. So here, unless the King of Cups reversed is the Emperor, right? Because the Emperor then would be very upright in his business, but in his personal life, he may be depressed or alcoholic. So it's coming up as the Emperor and the Empress upright with the King of Cups between, which can be someone separate from them, holding on with their cards close to their chest, with the Knight of Wands inspired to get going, but uncomfortable with emotions of not leaving or depressed about a sovereign catch, right? Or the one, you're the one that I want. I'm kidding. Or thinking that ship has sailed. After water issues or leaks, or Christmas and holiday spending, or kids all grown and don't come home for holidays, or Viking ship that has sailed and left with Chinese and grass, or chopsticks and silk cloth only, and the lawn that needs to be cut, with the Empress upright and the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles sovereign or independent child, uncomfortable with depression or as an opportunity that was missed, with a present or gifting of the Page of Cups reversed, rejected child, or someone who's shy and crying perhaps, or spoiled and entitled, post-war, fight, virus, or fears that are unwarranted about walking away or never walking away, depressed, arrogant, and or in a need to heal or dream, with family synchronicities. And so this came up in the show last night too with Snow Girl, where the ones who abducted her, they finally bring that up in the show, because they're lying to the girl to make the girl believe that she's their child, because we're talking like 6 years down the road after they were abducted. They can't do anything out in public because everyone knows them as not having a child. And now the child has been put in fear so that she wouldn't go out and be amongst the public. So she's been given lies like, there are bad men out there that are going to hurt you if you go anywhere. So showing how destructive it is to tell someone a lie, even if it's just to your child, okay? And maybe you think it's an innocent lie, but maybe it can turn out to be something very different. Maybe you told to keep your children safe. You tell them things so they'll be afraid and they won't do certain things, but then they get this big fear or anxiety because of what you taught them. Or now, because of what you taught them to be afraid of, they now have lied to other people thinking that it's the truth. And now those lies may have affected your life and you don't even understand why this has happened. So you see how this can be a vicious circle. So the Emperor or Emperor and Empress with condition or conditions of love, perhaps drained or sick with the Knight of Cups Pisces, or needing sunshine, and the Knight of Cups goes out into the world or neighborhood, completing a cycle, perhaps being Scroogey with an offer from the Knight of Swords reversed, who may be lashing out at the Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community of abundance, or kids who are mad at their parents not sharing their abundance at 1138, which is the Justice of the Queen of Cups, and the Hierophant or marriage or commitment or tradition of the Three of Cups reversed, perhaps married or Taurus not come together with the Page of Cups reversed child or pet, who then feels rejected, or third-party rejection, or someone deemed as a crybaby, or a spoiled and entitled child expecting to get their way and throwing a temper tantrum. So at 1145 of Justice and the 45 of the Purging card, the Five of Cups, of grief and purging that loss or that regret or the past, with uncomfortable emotions here of not walking away, suddenly blowing up. And again, this lie of the twin flame journey, right? Where many people stay together for 30 years who hate each other. So there's that lie to the children of staying together. Or even if it's not a lie, they're giving all that negative energy of the fight between them to their children. So either way is not good because there are lies or negative energies between them. The energy of the lie that's in the masculine of being connected to another person in a committed relationship, and that can be the feminine as well. And in a gay relationship too, there's two feminines or masculines. It could be the masculine or the feminine persons. But suddenly blowing up, or an epiphany here, or in a sexual exchange, knowing and suddenly keeping to oneself about big love offer and or confession. From the Knight of Wands rushing in after over-isolating, coming out to the kids or to a soulmate, Divine Feminine or Pisces, the world or a completion point, coming full circle here, with the Six of Cups kids or soul tie and the High Priestess, blocked by or stuck with the Empress upright and the Magician of her manifestations, or the Taurus, Gemini, or Virgo, or mother suddenly uncomfortable and keeping to themselves. So at 12:02, with the Queen of Cups reversed and the Page of Cups reversed, the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles both reversed, and that could be like a mother and child and then the parents and vice versa. With Cancer and Scorpio upright here, Aquarius reversed, Virgo both upright and reversed, with Pisces upright, Sag, Taurus, and Gemini upright as well. The foundation is the Ten of Pentacles family upright and their secrets, leaving others out in the cold, or nursing an illness or injury, coming clean, getting clean, or cleaning up the actor's space, or up early at the new moon, with the central energy of the Ace of Pentacles reversed, perhaps planning for a new life, or saving, withholding, playing hardball at home, with a new idea or awakening to the inequity in a heated exchange with the King of Wands, regarding healing a broken heart, a disappointment, a separation, or two sets of loving kids, traveling or coming full circle at home, with the Divine Feminine or Pisces upright, or Pisces reversed, or Capricorn reversed, or that those signs are in their chart. The challenge being the Five of Cups of grief and loss, regret, the wounded warrior reversed, giving up, uncomfortable with the Page of Swords reversed in their negative self-talk, or lying and spying now with rumors flying that perhaps the parents started. With the Hierophant, Taurus, or married couple ending the war with the Page of Cups reversed, to have a workplace and or peace, or a place to rest, or not facing their fears of rejection at work, or until death do us part. Spoiling their kids, or kids being ungrateful, or that can be the other way around too, or abusing kids or neglecting kids, and then the kids being very wounded by that. And then the King of Pentacles reversed, being no superhero here, with the King of Swords reversed, no man of integrity, without romantic tie, and the dependent no longer obsessing, at least, with lovers out in the cold, with an olive branch extended, with two in disconnect or at a distance, or in a split, and implementing a plan to drop the act, detoxing, dealing with loss or regret, with the Page of Wands, who's inspired to be without excuse. No need to defend themselves to the group, which is correct, right? As long as they do it with truth and love. And now is the Indigo upright with the proposal to detox negativity and or bad news, or diffuse a situation with the Queen of Pentacles, to save, or they're saving for or withholding from the Page of Cups reversed, looking back at the Two of Cups reversed, who weren't seeing eye to eye in the past, the King and Queen of Pentacles, where the Queen is upright here and the King is reversed, and the Princess refusing to wake up, perhaps sad about savings or withholding, about playing hardball, having to magnetize or make their own money now, or getting up early, or waking up on time for a change, or stingy and deceptive, narcissistic Hierophant, or Taurus upright can be here as well. The Page of Cups reversed, uncomfortable that the Ten of Pentacles is saving or withholding to propose or manifest something new, perhaps for somebody else. With Cancer reversed and Taurus upright, with sad memories of the Ten of Wands reversed, dumping their burdens or responsibilities, or the confessions, but only after they were caught, in a bold move to purge, surrender, or powerlessness in presenting the truth to the Ten of Cups family of emotions, with the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles both reversed, and both sovereign energies that are not sovereign. But the Nine of Wands reversed is surrender, which is good. And the Nine of Pentacles reversed is that dependent one, or the one who feels powerless, not getting their wish or not getting their way and staying on the fence with the family in a twist of fate or in a downturn where the wheel is not turning in their favor, finding peace in lovemaking instead, or in detoxing with the Queen of Swords, who's speaking their truth about Gemini upright and the Queen of Wands, or those of great affection, or two female lovers, or Gemini upright and Cancer reversed, Capricorn reversed, and Aries reversed, where at 1236, the Hanging Man and the Atlas energy of the weight of the world, with the Queen of Wands upright and the Page of Wands upright, or mother and child who don't need an excuse. And that could be two siblings as well, who don't need an excuse to be their authentic selves as long as they're being respectful, loving, and kind and truthful. So at 1237 then brings up the King of Cups and hanging out, or perhaps a Pisces King of Cups, or Capricorn. Soon here's the Three of Swords reversed, healing, apologizing, forgiving, surrendering to feeling drained, to feeling sick. And again, that can be an ego thing of someone who is seen as weak when they're drained or sick. Surrendering to feeling drained or sick. Kids, pets, egos, or Leos out of control. So keeping it in and learning how to receive love and self-love and seeing synchronicities, having options and what are the unknowns. Needing to heed the call of unconditional love, of the Emperor and the Empress, of realizing that only unconditional love comes from parents. Needing strength in a heated exchange. So this could be someone realizing, kids who have been really rude to their parents or disrespectful, now realizing, coming back from another situation, that their parents are the only ones who actually unconditionally love them no matter what. And it's 6:14 on the clock, which is the lover's love, and then the higher love of the 14 in the Temperance card. Needing strength in a heated exchange, or in a delay after delay of the Knight of Wands rushing home to save the day. With the Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Wands all aligned right here with the Emperor, or a fiery visit. With the twin flames and the star reversed, perhaps needing to heal and dream. Give your relationship a chance. Where there is deception here, there needs to be playfulness. There may be lower back pain, or feeling stabbed in the back, ending pain or in a painful end, or major surgery for the King of Swords reversed, or the Knight of Cups offering love to the Page of Pentacles, or with them offering love to one who's trapped or anxious or imprisoned by depression or arrogance, or needing to heal and find peace with injustice, of interesting or investing in a near-death experience, or dark night of the soul, or experiencing surgery and near-death experience there, or in the never-ending story of clinging to life, or clinginess in general, dropping the ball, the act, breaking the pattern, or taking off of work and not making money while off, or having surgery and being paranoid about that. With Aquarius, Libra, and Scorpio all reversed here, and the King of Wands shaman, with the Queen of Cups reversed, third party, working nonstop to make magic, to manifest big with all tools on board. Perhaps depressed King of Swords reversed, wanting to offer love to the Queen of Cups reversed, mastering alchemy, but both are reversed, perhaps in some negativity or sad. And the King of Swords reversed with the Knight of Swords upright, the Knight of Wands upright, and the King of Wands upright. The King of Swords is reversed, though, drained or draining in the need to be saved, or drawing in the need to be saved. But the King of Swords wants to be or offer love as the Knight of Cups, to cause the Knight of Wands to fall off their high horse, and the King of Wands to experience the injustice of the disconnect and distance perhaps that they felt, and to hang out, to surrendering to detox and know what it's like. Perhaps sibling rivalry, or Romeo and Juliet amongst the warring factions, and the King of Swords reversed with the King of Wands upright, or offering love and then taking it away once they fall out of balance, and see how they like it, to be forced to surrender to their power, to be out of control, surrendering their power to the out of control devil, to the ball and chain, or the codependent, the addiction, and detoxing to make amends at 1257, the Hanging Man and the separation. To be the magician for real this time and make magic and beauty, the block of the Two of Wands of the twin flames, and challenged by grief or blocked by their twin flame, and the Emperor and the Empress both upright, needing strength to deal with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles who's reversed or stuck or refusing to work, or just unable to function. The Knight of Swords may be defending the Knight of Pentacles reversed and their honor. I am the knight that will fight for your honor. That's coming up. I am the... why can't I think of the tune? I am the knight that will fight for your honor. I am the hero that you are dreaming of. So that's, anyway, that's coming up. Health, communication, and surrender, even more so with relationship change. The pain of being the third party and feeling two lovers, and the Page of Pentacles hurting themselves to be perfect. The child wanting so desperately for their parents' approval or affections or love. Deceptions, up early, tripped up and attacked, or falling for the defenselessness of lacking faith, or falling from grace, under attack, energies, or being ganged up on at 104, which is the Magician and the Emperor. A group trying to get you to sway to their wants and needs, their opinions or beliefs, with Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Leo reversed, with Gemini and Taurus upright here. The Queen of Pentacles is reversed with the Page of Swords in negative self-talk or negative words, immature conversation, with disconnect or distance of the King of Pentacles reversed, and that could be a divorcing couple too, with the King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. Perhaps the King of Pentacles, though, is getting attention or has a good reputation at work or with success in leading the way, but perhaps at home he could be narcissist or a jerk or be all about the money, but he doesn't show that at work. But that energy of the subconscious guidance and needing to jump through hoops. The Queen of Pentacles reversed could be lying or spying in a breakup with the King of Pentacles reversed as well, with a reputation to uphold. And that can go both ways with the King and Queen of Pentacles both reversed. In a sudden Ten of Swords pain, with the Queen of Swords upright and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, dependent or powerless and needing to heed the call or swallow their pride, with the Page of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Cups reversed being driven to explode in pain or in a painful end, with the Queen of Swords upright, dependent or powerless to an announcement, withholding, or calls that have not been made. And the Page of Cups reversed, or rejection, or child having to assume that there's no reply, that it is a rejection. That could be rejection letters too for colleges and things like that. At 112, maybe they have to make a decision and they haven't received all their letters yet, but maybe they have to assume, if they haven't heard, that it's a rejection so that they can make another decision. Perhaps rejection with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, a college, a job, or depressed, or needing to heal with the King of Wands, shaman, perhaps getting some work done. Uncomfortable not being able to offer their time, money, and effort. Challenged by grieving or purging. Maybe the shaman now is grieving or purging and he can't heal you today. Or the sadness of a separation or heartbreak. Disappointment of the twin flame or choice of path. Proposing deception, or to get up really early and see a guidance counselor to find the strength and courage or better health. With the Queen of Pentacles reversed, maybe in her negativity, in a disconnect or distance from the King of Pentacles reversed, who may be getting all the accolades or attention and leading the way to bring good news to others. With the Queen of Cups reversed, perhaps Cancer and Scorpio getting a massage with the Queen of Swords upright and feeling powerless and crying like a baby in uncomfortable emotions of the ship that has sailed, and the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or perhaps Ivy League with no offers. The challenge being sadness and indigo, proposing to heal, dream, and forgive, and heal the heart, with the King of Wands, shaman, and the twin flame up all night, or up really early for guidance on how to heal, the King and Queen of Pentacles both reversed. Gemini or Virgo upright, to Aquarius, Cancer, and Leo reversed with Taurus upright, proposing to heal all this, with the King of Cups, the Emperor, the Empress, the Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, and King of Wands are all upright here. So there's a lot of fiery energies upright here, which is good. And then the Knight of Cups and Page of Pentacles, kids, could be getting the shaman to fix the King of Swords reversed, with a need for playfulness here. And a family could be teaming up to bring the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups together, or the King of Swords reversed with the King of Wands upright at 126, the Magician or Divine Masculine, and the Page of Wands to inspire them. Okay, so that's everything, you guys. Just a quick energy deck card to wrap it up at 3:18. It's 6:21 on the clock, so maybe June 21st is going to be significant here, which again is the third quarter of the year, which came up before. And that's also going from Gemini to Cancer. and also where we go into July 18th, which is when the North Node goes into Aries. So that'll be a big shift because, you know, Taurus is really stubborn and persistent, and then Aries jumps right in and is really physical. So there'll be a palpable shift right there. Because normally we go from Pisces to Aries, right, from the ending to beginning. But here we're going from Taurus backwards to Aries. So that's, you know, not your normal flow. So I'm sure you'll be feeling it. All right, the Garden and the Gate, 30. So again, there's the child who feels anxious about leaving the house or about following the butterflies there, the twin butterflies perhaps. And again, the home and the union. And there's the 43 of the man who's getting all the accolades and the attention and healing others outside the house. So is this a father and child? Is this a couple where she's made to feel very small in the house, right? The housewife, the little old housewife. That could be the energy here as well. Or is this the masculine and the divine masculine, divine feminine energies as well? So those two are coming up, as well as this guy here. So the Magician in the mirror. This could also be the man who needs to look in the mirror at himself as the Emperor and the King of Pentacles reversed. And the coming together with the Knight of Swords here to see who he truly is. And I always remember this from Tom Cruise said that a long time ago, that his mother made him take a good look in the mirror about himself to decide who he really wants to be. That was a long time ago. I'm not saying that was for good or for bad. I have no opinion about that, but I just remember that he'd said that so long ago. The underlying energy is the 35 of the wounded warrior, the first chakra of the root wound, getting to that root wound to get it out. The Archangel Michael energies here of the warrior. And beneath that, the 34 going into the 35. So the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, the communication and travel it takes to open the windows and let nature in, to let the outside in as well into your body, to heal yourself and allow yourself to be happy, naturally, purified, in energetic exchange from the root, starting from the root, starting from 1, 2, 3 and ABCs, and Michael Jackson talking about 1, 2, 3. So we're bringing that up. And again, the sword came up in the picture I showed you, and having a handle on it. And there's that ring pop that came up too, and sucking the diamond, the candy diamond. And again, that could be a wound too, right? So you're talking about the root, right? When you're a baby. So, you know, breastfeeding first and sucking things, sucking your thumb, sucking your finger. My son had a major wounded thumb, and he used to suck that thumb. And after he got his thumb stuck in the VCR. And so because he couldn't suck that thumb anymore, he had to choose a new finger. But I mean, you know, there's major trauma around sucking your thumb. So that could be coming up as well. And again, that energy of never having been weaned. Okay? And that could have to do with not being breastfed or being, you know, abused as a child as well. Whatever the issues are, they could be coming up here with this energy here. But this is also the stunted inner girl of the masculine. So the little girl inside of him, that was coming up in another read too, where he ignored his feminine altogether. And so now his feminine side is terrified little girl with terrible anxiety, because he's made it all about the masculine all of his life, right, as the emperor, and ignored his inner little girl. And this is about him recognizing this, taking a good long look in the mirror, and what have I become? And getting to the root of the issue. So this is a really good shift that's coming in right here. Okay, guys, remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature, and remember to stay here and today. Just enjoy today. Everything's good. You're good. You have a place to be. You have someone who loves you. You're good. And always follow your own intuition first and last. Rise and be loved, love and rise. It's all in their eyes. I'll see you guys soon. Remember to breathe